second players of the game. Sponsored by Old Trafford. What's your team? In the first half, Utah was listless. And then the senior Drew List came on, and everything changed. Took in a touchdown, but the effectiveness turned it over, and Ty Jordan has stepped it up. Well, and Drew List really, in my mind, has made this whole offense go at a much better, more efficient clip. I mean, the chemistry between the receivers is better. There's better energy. There's better flow.
Welcome to the 2 feet of snow whiteout right here in Happy Valley, just in time for the Nittany Lions and Fighting Illini during Big Ten Champions Week. Thanks for tuning in and watching my live reactions play-by-play of Penn State and Illinois, live right here on YouTube. I'm your host, as always, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Hit that thumbs up button. Share hashtag college football, hashtag Illinois, hashtag Penn State. Chat questions and comments, super chats, super stickers. Always greatly appreciated as well. Before kickoff, we got a few games on this afternoon after witnessing a few teams win their conference championships earlier this afternoon. We'll get more into all that coming up at halftime, but currently Boise State, San Jose State, along with Clemson and Notre Dame, a rematch from a month and a half ago. We also got Minnesota and Wisconsin, battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, along with Utah coming back down 28-7, now leading, and will defeat Washington State by a final score of 45-28 with a minute and a half to play unless the Cougs do something here. Just picked up a first down there. Washington State at Utah in the Pac-12, Mountain West championship game, ACC championship game. We got another game, the only other game actually going on currently during Big Ten Champions Week right now in the Big Ten, as we saw Ohio State come from behind earlier and defeat Northwestern to win their fourth straight Big Ten title. But once again, thank you for tuning in live right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. See that thumbs up button? Hit that thumbs up button. See that red subscribe button? Hit that red subscribe button as well. Little notify bell next to it as well. Like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below. It's the easiest way to stay up to date. We're all on social media. Chat questions and comments, super chats, super stickers. Always greatly appreciated as well. But coming up at 5:30 Eastern Time here on the East Coast in 2 feet of whiteout snow right here in Happy Valley over at Beaver Stadium, the blue and white Penn State Nittany Lions will host the Illinois Fighting Illini, who actually just hired a new head football coach earlier this morning. We'll get into that momentarily. But Illinois at Penn State, a Big Ten West, Big Ten East showdown, a crossover matchup for the third time this season for Penn State. Of course, actually wasn't supposed to take place by any means today. The Big Ten switched up the schedule as they've done. We've had a few cancellations as well. We'll get more into all those, as mentioned, coming up shortly. But once again, yes, thank you for tuning in and watching. Penn State, Illinois, coming up at 5:30 here on FS1, an odd kick time. Okay, last time Penn State had a odd kick time like this at 5:30 was back in 2014 when they played the University of Central Florida, UCF, at 8:30 in the morning across the pond over in Ireland during the Croke Park Classic. Now facing Illinois for the first time in 2 years. It was a Friday night win in Champaign. Hopefully the Lions will be popping some of that later on tonight. 4-0 after starting out 0-5 the first time ever in program history. Potential bowl bid on the line come tomorrow versus opponents. We'll get more into those shortly as well. But yes, a 5:30 kick on FS1. And if Penn State wins, of course, yes, they would have won 4 straight after starting out 0-5. Losses to Indiana, Ohio State, Maryland, Nebraska, and Iowa. Long 5-game stretch before they've won 3 straight, following Thanksgiving. Yes, Nittany Nation is thankful for these past 3 wins against Michigan, Rutgers, and last week's win at home against Michigan State, not knowing if the blue and white would get another home game this season. Now, history will be made today. This game will go down as the latest Penn State has ever played a home football game during the regular season, as we are 6 days away from Christmas here in 2020. So this Saturday, December the 19th, 2020, Illinois coming to town to take on Penn State. This game is history in the making. Will go down as the latest Penn State has played at home during the regular season. Who would have thought that would ever happen? But it is 2020, so here we are. But the last time Penn State had an odd kick like this, from what I can recall, as mentioned, was back in 2014 8:30 in the morning here on the East Coast, 5:30 Pacific, but of course was noon local time across the pond over in Ireland. So a normal kick in which Penn State won off of a Sam Ficken game-winning field goal, and then they actually lost to Illinois that year, 2014, Franklin's first year at the helm, along with 15. Not so hot. Lovie Smith just got canned by Illinois after 5 seasons. They just brought in Brett Bielema, the former Wisconsin Arkansas coach. We'll get into more about him in a second. But Penn State seeking their 4th straight consecutive win here this afternoon after starting out 0-5. They defeated Michigan, Rutgers, and Michigan State the past few weeks. Illinois now during Big Ten Champions Week, hopeful for 4 in a row and a potential bowl game. And what a season it's been. It's been a long season. 9 consecutive weeks. Penn State and Rutgers, the only 2 Big Ten teams to play a full 9-game slate. Who would have thought that as well? But hell, even you go back to Penn State losing to Nebraska, Illinois beat Nebraska a week later during the Penn State-Iowa matchup. So common opponents, yes, of course, as always. But Penn State seeking 4 in a row after starting 5-0. 0-5, excuse me, first time ever. Wish, of course, yeah, they started out 5-0 and have won 3 in a row. Following that, to potentially, seek a 9th game for 9-0. Hell, they would have played earlier today in the Big Ten title game, with, of course, then being ahead of Ohio State in the East. And who knows, they could be in the college football playoff. But yes, no. Starting at 0-5, first time ever, have won 3 straight, hopeful for 4 today, before a potential bowl bid, versus potentially a few different teams from the Big 12, ACC, maybe even the SEC, and West Virginia, TCU, and Kansas State. If they play any of those 3 out of the Big 12, I'd expect them to go out west in the desert to face off NC State, Wake Forest, potentially in Charlotte, host of the ACC title game. Currently with Clemson leading this rematch 17-3 midway through the second quarter as they near halftime. So potential matchup with the Wolfpack and Demon Deacons out of the ACC in the Queen City, home of the Carolina Panthers, who are on the road tonight in the NFL, as we have 2 NFL games this Saturday. Currently, Buffalo's on the road in Denver. Last I saw, the game was still tied at 0, and then Green Bay will host the Panthers later on tonight. We'll check in with that game once Illinois and Penn State, of course, wraps up. But in the meantime, Washington State, Utah just went final, so we should switch gears here on FS1 to Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley for Illinois and Penn State. But if it's any team out of the SEC, I'd expect either Missouri, Ole Miss, or even Auburn after they fired Gus Malzahn last weekend. We've had a few Power 5 jobs that were open, now have been filled. However, now both Auburn and Arizona, after they fired Kevin Sumlin last weekend as well, those are still open, so we'll have to see how those turn out by any means. But if it's Auburn, it'll be 3 years running, beginning with this bowl game potentially by the end of the year, because the Tigers and the Lions begin a home-and-home series starting next September. So today it was supposed to be Penn State and Wisconsin. Penn State's going to open on the road at Wisconsin next season to begin 2021 and the Big Ten conference schedule. So, as mentioned, the Big Ten switched it up. It was supposed to be Penn State, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan State, but currently, as mentioned, Minnesota is at Wisconsin for the Battle of Paul Bunyan and Zax up in Camp Randall. Michigan State's game versus Maryland once again got canceled, as did Purdue and Indiana. So both those games this season have been canceled twice. Michigan, Iowa was also canned, as that was supposed to take on the Wolverines and Hawkeyes later on tonight on ESPN from Kinnick. But of course, that game was canceled as well. We saw yesterday Nebraska, last night actually, defeat Rutgers. So as far as you can go west in the Big Ten and as far as you can go east in the Big Ten, the Cornhuskers and Scarlet Knights faced off, and Nebraska came out on top. Rutgers did not win a single game at home this year. However, their 3 wins, all on the road. Pretty good for Greg Schiano in his first year back at the helm. We'll get into Brett Bielema once again in a second once Penn State, Illinois kicks off here. He's actually in attendance. However, former West Virginia, Indiana, and Michigan, along with Arizona assistant Rod Smith, is the current Illinois interim head coach after the Fighting Illini, as mentioned, fired Lovie Smith, the former Bear, now Illinois head coach, last Sunday after 5 seasons. But yeah, Illinois has been down in the dumps, doormat of the Big Ten, honestly. I believe Bielema could get them back on track potentially over the course of the next few years. He's got a 6-year deal worth about $4.5 a year, $4.5 million. I should add a year. He's honestly this generation's Charlie Weiss, not because of size by any means. Now there is a lawsuit pending with Arkansas with how he was fired and everything that went on in Fayetteville with the Hogs. And honestly, he should have never left Madison with the Wisconsin Badgers. Led them to 3 Big Ten titles. Left for some unknown reason. Of course, yes, for money. Money talks. I get it. For Arkansas, got canned after the 2017 season as a head coach in college. Since then, he's been assistant in the NFL with the Pats and Giants since, but now he's going to be returning to college football. And actually, the last time he was, in the regular season at least, a Big Ten football head coach was in 2012, and it was on the road at Penn State before Wisconsin won the Big Ten that season. And then a day later, he left town for Arkansas. He was there for a few seasons and then, of course, got fired. But now, as we head to a night December game right here in Happy Valley over at Beaver Stadium, 5:30 Eastern kick on FS1. It'll be Illinois and Penn State. Illinois coming off of the land of Lincoln loss against Northwestern last week on the road. Penn State defeated Michigan State for the Battle of the Land Grant Trophy. So it stays in town for at least another year. But honestly, it should be a good game. Illinois doesn't have anything to lose. It's their last game of the season, so expect everything plus the kitchen sink. They're plus in the turnover margin, so hopefully Penn State, as they've been doing well as of late, running the football well, hit a few explosive plays potentially, but do not turn the football over, okay? Because Illinois could very well make you pay. Illinois coaching changes. Yeah, Lovie Smith fired last Sunday. They just hired Brett Bielema. Made it official this morning. As mentioned, he will be in attendance. However, has nothing to do with this team, but he will take over immediately following tonight's matchup, as he'll be the head coach effective immediately moving forward, as he'll leave the New York Football Giants as their linebackers coach, as they're on a potential playoff push in the NFC East. But he's back as a head coach in college football in the Big Ten, where he's had success. And that's why I think he could very well have more success in Champaign. As mentioned, yes, last time Penn State had a odd kick was back in 2014. Get back on track here. Today at 5:30 on FS1. They beat Central Florida. They beat Illinois the last time they faced off as well back in 2018. But remember, Penn State had come from behind and that 63-24 win with the help of a young Journey Brown wearing number 32 at the time, the freshman back out of Meadville. And of course, we know the story with Brown now this season. Has not played at all, had to medically retire due to a heart condition. But in high school, that led him to Penn State in Meadville. Ran for, in one single game against the DuBois Beavers, had 10 rushing touchdowns and over 1,000 rushing yards back in 2015. Walked on actually at Penn State, got a scholarship, broke out last season, and then of course cannot play anymore. And we'll get more into Penn State recruiting as well, as this past Wednesday was early signing day. Now come first Wednesday of February, as always, that'll be the normal signing day, but over the past 2 years with this early signing day, as Penn State signed 15 players this past week, the early signing period has turned into the go-to number one, because teams don't want players to, programs at least, don't want players to not sign and then wait it out and potentially flip on signing day in early February and go elsewhere then, because then you might not fill your needs. But with Illinois and Penn State today, right here in central Pennsylvania, 2 feet of snow Wednesday into Thursday. What a mess that was and still is, but as always, because we're all used to it around here, at least we'll get out of it. It's nothing really new. Field looks perfect though. As mentioned last week, has to be the bestest Beaver Stadium turf has ever looked this time of year. But Penn State has never played at home this late in the year ever before. So history, as mentioned, being made here tonight. And I mean, why 5:30? Why couldn't you've had this at noon or a little earlier? But we had Big Ten title game at noon because of all these other conference championship games going on this weekend, as well as we see some highlights now on ABC. As at the half, Clemson leads, and I'm honestly really surprised, blowing out the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 24-3. If that keeps up, Notre Dame might be on their way out of the college football playoff. But in the meantime, we're underway from Beaver Stadium. Illinois kicking off right to left. Penn State back deep to receive. We're going to have a touchback on the opening kickoff. So it'll be 1st and 10, blue and white from the 25-yard line. And it'll be Sean Clifford, the big red dog. His little brother, Liam, actually one of those 15 commits Penn State signed this past week. He'll be coming in to play wide receiver for the Nittany Lions beginning next year. We'll see if Clifford sticks around. He's a senior, just graduated. And with everyone eligible this year, eligibility-wise, not going to count against you, and this is for everyone. Seniors programs are going to have to make a decision on if they want players to come back or not. First play of the game, Clifford hits Jahan Dotson, and 75 yards later, he's off to the races. Touchdown Penn State, just like that, 11 seconds in. Touchdown Nittany Lions, and what a way to start. Wow, I have just, wow. Simple comeback, 10 yards downfield, and I don't know where the hell the defense was by any means, but that's Illinois football for you. They only have 2 wins on the season. Yeah, Penn State's 3-5. They started 0-5, but they've won 3 straight. They're hot right now. And 75 yards later, extra point going to be up and good, just barely by Penninger, but still counts as a point. So 7-0 Nittany Lions, officially 12 seconds in. 1 play, 75 yards, 6 points, make it 7 for the touchdown. Penn State leading Illinois 7-0, 12 seconds in this ball game. And from what I can recall, from what I know, I do believe, now I could be mistaken. If anybody does in fact know, let me know in the comments. And once again, thank you for tuning in and watching. As Illinois is looking for their first road win at Penn State in a decade, they've only won in Happy Valley once all time. It was back in 2010. And yes, we can feel it coming in the air tonight, Phil Collins. And it feels like it's going to be a long afternoon, long evening for the Fighting Illini. But a good one for the blue and white, no doubt. Jordan Stout on the kickoff. So, what a start me up there by Penn State. One play, 75 yards and 6. But I do believe, at home at least for Penn State, okay, as Stout kicks off, and we're going to have to touch back on this kickoff as well. First time since 2009 Iowa game, Penn State has scored on the opening play of the game. In the rain. Now, of course, the rest of that ball game didn't go Penn State's way. Iowa came in, won. Game day was in town. Iowa won the Orange Bowl that year. Penn State beat LSU in the Citrus Bowl. Those two bowl games, by far, out of reach for Penn State this season. But with a win, 4 straight at 4-5, you would think they're going to be getting a bowl bid. Sometime tomorrow, hopefully, we'll know by around this time, maybe even a little earlier. But now, 1st and 10, Illinois from 25. They're going to run some trickery. They have a man wide open at midfield, so both defenses not playing any football as of yet. But Brandon Peters, former Michigan quarterback, in it, QB, hits his receiver near side. I believe that was the backup quarterback in Isaiah Williams, who's now in the ball game at quarterback. So a 2-quarterback system for Illinois. Yes, it was. So they run a little trick play, bubble near side. He steps back and then hits his receiver downfield. So a double pass on the first play of the game for Illinois. It goes for a big first down. And then a slant over the middle, incomplete for number 1, Isaiah Williams. So 2nd and 10 for the orange and blue eyes from Champaign, Illinois. Their basketball program's on the rise, one of the best in the land. However, football, as mentioned in the Big Ten at least, over the past decade or so, they have been non-existent. They went to the Rose Bowl during the 2007 season, Penn State year after, of course, against USC, before a rematch against the Trojans in 2016. They actually lost to Oregon last night. Oregon didn't even win their own division. How they won the Pac-12, though. And they'll be, for the most part, you would think, taking on Indiana in the Fiesta Bowl, but we'll get into bowl projections and bowl predictions coming up shortly. 3rd down and 8 from the 40. Out of the gun, 3 wide. Williams looking to throw. He's going to roll out, almost taking down the sack. That's a hold. And then Brandon Smith comes up, almost makes a tackle. And then somehow Williams evades all that and picks up 9 yards on 3rd and 8 and picks up a big Illinois first down. That's a hold. That's a hold. And then Smith just comes blowing in and completely misses on the tackle. He's going to be, in my opinion at least, the backbone of the linebacker group moving forward, as he has a lot of potential. As Penn State, of course, linebacking wise right now this year, it's Ellis Brooks, Jesse Luketa, and Brandon Smith. Among some others, of course, yes, Micah Parsons was a part of that. He opted out, graduated. He's going to be going to the NFL. Pass down the middle, intercepted the 5-yard line by State College's own number 2, Keaton Ellis. They say interception. Penn State football, 1st and 10 at the 5-yard line. Already up 7-0, 12:52 to play here in this opening quarter. As Penn State, if you're just now tuning in, scored on the very first play of the game. 75-yard touchdown from Sean Clifford to Jahan Dotson. Did Keaton Ellis catch this, though? That's the question. That's a catch. That is an interception. It's going to be 1st and 10 nitwits from the 5-yard line. Yes, of course, they're going to have length of the field to go. But as we hit it feels like it's going to be a good day good game, hopefully, for Penn State, and a long afternoon, long night for Illinois. So we'll get back to the action momentarily. Dr. Pepper challenge as well with conference championship halftimes, as this has become a tradition over the past however many years it's been going on. It's always something, at least during conference championship weekend, at least, you know is going to happen. You know is going to be taking place. And of course, some have been virtual. It just depends on what games they are. They're just handing out the money. This, you know, we actually see it taking place. Dude, perfect, helping out. But these other games, as mentioned, Boise State, San Jose State for the Mountain West, in Vegas. No Las Vegas Bowl this year. Big Ten was affiliated with that. That could have been a potential bowl destination for Penn State, but not going to happen this year. New Era Pinstripe Bowl not happening either. There's a few bowl games, of course, canceled. There's a now numerous amount of teams, as the list has grown over the past week or so, that have opted out of going to a bowl game that will not be playing in the postseason this year due to just their own choice. Now, Penn State wins today. I think they'd be stupid. I don't think they would say no to a bowl game, especially after starting out 0-5 and then winning 4 straight. It's like, what the hell's the point of playing? You know. But and yeah, hell, we got some college football, as the bowl games wouldn't normally have started today. They'll start now on Monday. My bowl predictions right here on YouTube will be released on Tuesday. So keep an eye out for those. Hit that notify bell along with the red subscribe button if you haven't done so already. But we'll have some college football and NFL on Christmas next week. Hopefully everyone have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you don't tune back in from now until then, of course. 1st and 10 for Penn State from the 6. Clifford on the quarterback keeper. Fumble. Illinois has it, but was he down? I believe he was down. They actually signal Illinois football, though. So Penn State, one play after Illinois turns it over, they turn it right back. See here on the replay if the ball was coming out. His knee's down. His knee is down. His knee is down. Make some noise, cardboard cutouts. Let's go. Of course, because of Governor Tom Wolf, there's once again no fans in the stands, no friends or family of coaches or players in attendance. Zebras, yes, you better think this one over. Tell me something good. Of course, you have to find undisputed video evidence to overturn this. It's a fumble on the field, so they have to see if his knee's down by any means or not, which it's right there. The ball's coming out. They're probably not going to have enough to overturn. It's probably going to stand. Illinois is going to get it. 1st and 10 from inside the red zone. However, they're horrible in the red zone this year. However, now, even with Penn State in turnovers, it stands in the turnover margin in the first 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes of this game. But as mentioned with Penn State, just hopefully be able to run the ball effectively well once again today. Hit an explosive play or two. Hell, first play of the ball game, touchdown, 75. And of course, John O'Neill, our Whitecapper today, call is confirmed, so it stands as called. 1st and 10, Illinois. As one play after Illinois turned it over, Penn State hands it right back with a fumble. So Illinois going to have a 1st and 10 from, we'll see where they spot the football. It's going to be inside the 15-yard line, it looks like. Right at the 16. So 1st and 10, Illinois from the 16, out of the gun. 2 backs in the backfield. Smith right on the stop of the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10. but Illinois +7 in turnover margin, which, credit to them, they've found a way to keep themselves in every single ball game this year, but of course only have 2 wins. Penn State with three in a row, hoping for 4. And then the common opponent, as of late, the past month, is Nebraska. And those games were back-to-back. Penn State lost to Nebraska on the road. Illinois beat Nebraska on the road. So 2nd and 10. Williams going to keep it, and he's going to get about 7.5, maybe 8. It'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and 2 from right outside the 10-yard line. And as Ellis Brooks made the stop, Illinois going to get a little hurry up here. Handoff up the middle. Tackled right first down marker. They should have it. Should be a 1st and goal for the Fighting Illini in their road whites. Of course, over the past number of years, they've changed up their logos. But road whites, white tops, blue bottoms, orange helmets with the blue eye. No more old font. It's a single letter. Trying to teach everyone in the Midwest how to, as Williams finds his intended target in the end zone, touchdown Illinois, and they're an extra point away now from tying this game up. And if only Penn State didn't turn it over, their drive would, of course, still be going and, potentially up 2 scores right now. But, trying to teach everyone in the Midwest how to count from 1 to a million, and just as Jackson 5, extra point up and good, teaching everyone their ABCs. But Illinois 1 to a million, hell, they probably haven't even scored a total of 100 points over the past few meetings here with the Penn State Nittany Lions. As from 2005 to 2015, they met every single year. Okay, but they've only met once since, and it was in 2018. Penn State was a 63-24 win in their meeting today. Originally for the 2020 season, with the normal schedule with non-conference and the 9-game conference schedule, that would of course followed. As this schedule was the 3rd and final 8-game conference only that began week before Halloween. They weren't supposed to play Illinois. Then they were supposed to play Illinois. Then, of course, no. But now, hey, 4th time's a charm. Why the hell not? We get in Big Ten Champions League. Because, as mentioned, this game right now honestly shouldn't be taking place. The Big Ten switched up matchups after saying during Big Ten Champions League that you'd be playing whoever was the same seed as you, and each respective division, East and West respectively, as Penn State was the 4th, as Wisconsin was as well. So, as mentioned a little bit ago, it should have been, rather than Penn State Illinois today, Penn State Wisconsin, along with Illinois and Michigan State. But Wisconsin is now hosting Minnesota because Paul Bunyan's axe. We're about to kick off the second half in Charlotte with Clemson leading and blowing out Notre Dame. Not surprised by any means, 24-3. We'll get more into the college football playoff a little bit later on. It's going to be Alabama. It's going to be the winner of this game. It's going to be Ohio State. And then potentially on the margin of victory, how this game plays out. Texas A&M already won earlier today. Cincinnati hosts Tulsa in the American Athletic Conference Championship game later on tonight. Oklahoma already beat Iowa State in their rematch with the Big 12 title earlier today as well. It looks like Oklahoma could very well be going to the Peach Bowl to take on Cincinnati potentially, or even Coastal Carolina, who they are now co-champions with Louisiana Lafayette in the Sun Belt because their conference championship game was canceled this weekend due to COVID-19. But 2020 has been obviously coronavirus worldwide in life and the world of sports. And that's why, of course, now we're playing this late in the regular season. You know, bowl games would have been announced a few weeks ago. And, you know, we'd be waiting bowl games to begin today with the head-to-head with the NFL during Week 15. We got more action tomorrow. Hopefully we'll tune back in tomorrow and on Monday for more live reactions play. As always, live right here on YouTube. And once again, thank you for tuning in right now and watching Illinois Penn State. All tied up at 7 in about 5 minutes. And be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links, as always, in the description below. So Illinois and Penn State tied at 7 with 11:06 to play here in this first. We got Boise State and San Jose State, as mentioned, in the Mountain West as well. Looks like they're in a commercial break. And then just beginning the second half with both Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Clemson, Notre Dame in Big Ten Champions Week and the ACC Conference Championship. And Lamont Wade on the kickoff return, special teams here, and he's going to go 100 yards to the house. Almost brought down, and 10-5 touchdown Penn State. 2 explosive plays. 175-yard touchdown pass. Where the hell has this been all season long is what I want to know. Like, honestly, if they were balanced from start to finish, were able to block up front, run the damn ball, open up the pass game a little bit better, and don't turn the damn ball over, play good defense, learn how to tackle, which they've done better as of late, and then special teams playing a key now, finally. Lamont Wade, 100 yards on the kickoff return, almost brought down the 18-yard line. He stayed in, and we have a total of 20 points now. Only a few minutes in this ball game. Extra point pending by Jake Pinniger. His extra point now up and good, so Penn State leading by 7 again, 14-7. Illinois going to get the football back with 10:51 to play here in this first quarter. It seems like we've played a full 3.5, maybe even a full quarters by this point, but no. Back and forth. Illinois kicked off. If you're just now tuning in, little recap now. First play of the game, Penn State, 75-yard touchdown pass from Sean Clifford to Jahan Dotson. Penn State with a 7-0 lead. Illinois, they kept their drive alive on their opening drive for the most part before turning it over. They started out with a trick play, moved the ball downfield, out past midfield. Interception by Keaton Ellis at the 5-yard line. A play later, Penn State fumbles. Illinois, a couple plays later, they score, tied up 7. And then just as kickoff, Lamont Wade, who hasn't been returning kicks all season long, and Penn State for the most part, on both kickoffs and punts. And now in back-to-back games, they returned a punt and a kickoff for touchdowns. Jahan Dawson returned a punt last week to the house against Michigan State. For the most part, they've fair caught everything. Like, why not, with Joe Lorig still as your special teams coach, return a few more kicks? Like, that's why I said, where the hell has this been all season long? But thankful for the 3-game win streak. Hopefully it'll be 4, but hopefully this game is not back and forth from start to finish. Hopefully it'll calm down here. Teams will settle in and relax a little bit and get set, and then we'll go from there. But Penn State's been averaging about 30 points a game, so expect something, a number along those lines for Penn State today. Illinois, bottom half of college football in literally every single category. But they are +7. Now, +8, still +7 because with the cancellation of the 2 turnovers here in the first 5 minutes, plus the 21 total points, they're +7 in turnovers. So, I mean, and like I said, they've been able to find ways just to, stay in the ball game before, of course, it's too late and they've only won 2 games. And one of them was against Nebraska, as mentioned, who Penn State lost to by 7. So, yeah, a lot going on here. Trying to, as we'll come back from this commercial break, once again, Penn State, 3 plays, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble, as they've also got an interception, but they turned it over, so those turnovers cancel each other out. So honestly, only 2 plays for Penn State and 2 touchdowns. A 75-yard touchdown pass and a 100-yard kickoff return for 6. And Penn State leads once again by 7, 14-7. Another touchback on the Penn State kickoff. Jordan Stout, former Virginia Tech Hokie. The longest bowl streak for them comes to an end. They will not be going to the bowl game. They're supposed to meet earlier this season in Blacksburg. Now Virginia Tech wants to get out of the series and not come to Happy Valley in 2025, but we'll see what happens with that over the course of the next few years. But both these teams, for the most part, I mean, Penn State, with a win, they should go to a bowl game, I think. Illinois, though, as mentioned, they're going to leave it all out on the field. You would hopefully think, at least, moving towards the future with Brett Bielema taking over. But yeah, we're going to see literally anything and everything you could possibly think of as Isaiah Williams, Jesus Christ, tackle him. One play, almost another touchdown. Isaiah Williams on a simple RPO. He tucks it and runs. That's a hold. Call it. If it's a penalty, throw the flag. If not, don't. But that's a clear hold. But now Illinois has a 1st and 10 from around the 10-yard line. They're going to say 1st and 10 from the 11. So they should have eight shots here, you would think, to punch it in. Penn State going to make a stop in the backfield, though. Ellis Brooks and Adisa Isaac on the stop. But Brisker was the one who pushed them out of bounds at the 10-yard line there, saving the touchdown. So here, hopefully, they can force a field goal. But a lot going on. And, I mean, who would have thought? A total of 21, maybe even 28 points here in the first half of this first quarter between Illinois and Penn State here today. 6 days before Christmas. Handoff up the gut, touchdown Illinois. Jesus Christ. 14-13, pending the extra point. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, no doubt about it. Both these teams putting everything out on the field that they know. Especially Illinois. Not going to be playing again this year. Hopefully Penn State will in a bowl game, and they can save a few for whoever they play, whenever they play, by the end of the year. Could be a weekend or a midweek game, but as we see snow in the stands, of course they didn't bring the prisoners in this time to shovel it out, but hey, with no fans because of, state mandates, only cardboard cutouts that are still there, buried in the snow. No fans by any means, no friends or family of coaches or players, as it was up until last weekend. As Penn State finally returned home after a 2-game road trip following the 0-5 start, won 3 straight. However, now tied at 14 with Illinois. Video game stats, this is not something myself nor I don't think anyone expected by any means, especially this early on. We're not even midway through the first quarter, and we got a total of 28 points. We're tied at 14 with Illinois and Penn State. A 75-yard touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown. Illinois, a play after turning it over, getting the ball back, scoring a few plays later, and then a big run by their number 2 quarterback in their 2-quarterback system with Brandon Peters and Isaiah Williams. Got pushed out on the 10-yard line, handoff 2 plays later, I think, there, and in the end zone for 6. So 14 apiece. Like, honestly, right now, who's controlling this game? Both these teams just need to settle the hell down, relax, as Aaron Rodgers likes to say. We'll see him later on tonight with Green Bay hosting Carolina Panthers. We'll check in with Buffalo and Denver as well. If anybody does, in fact, know the score of that game, let me know in the comments below. Or any of these other games, for that matter, that I'm currently watching. San Jose State up 13-3 on Boise State. Clemson still leading Notre Dame 24-3, and then Minnesota, Wisconsin at the commercial break. So we'll check in on that in a little bit as well. But 14 apiece. And depending on how this game shakes out, could honestly go down as the most exciting game of the day. And it's not even for a conference championship. Just all these explosive plays. No defense has showed up by any means just yet. So, yeah, here hopefully both teams will settle down. Hopefully Penn State can do that with a good run game. Effectively run the football here. So Penn State going to be back deep to receive for the third time, I think. Yeah. I don't even remember. I mean, like I said, if you do the math, they kicked off, and then they've kicked off twice, of course, because they have 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, should be 3 apiece, make this 4. But a lot here in this not even first half of this first quarter. Like, who honestly would have thought this? Like, give me a goddamn break. Okay, so Parker Washington now from the 1-yard line. We'll see if he can return this as well. No, he's going to be stopped at the 27-yard line. The first and 10. Penn State from there, excuse me. But it honestly is a mismatch with Penn State being a 15-point favorite. But we're tied at 14 right now with 9:44 to play in this first quarter. Like, honestly, who's controlling this game? Like, who's calling the shots? I can tell you neither defense is, because they haven't showed up to play yet by any means. But Penn State's going to start out 1st and 10 out of the gun. Trips near side, left to right. Clifford looking to throw. It's going to be caught by Dawson at 30 for 4. He's trying to make a move. Gets an extra 2 if he's lucky, maybe. So it'll be 2nd down and medium here from the 32-yard line. All tied up at 14 with Illinois and Penn State. The Fighting Illini and Nittany Lions. Yes, of course, yes, more games canceled this weekend as well. But 2nd and 4 now from the 32. 3 wide. Brenton Stranger Things in motion. Taking over for, of course, Pat Fryermuth, who went down with that season-ending injury. Screen pass complete to Kevon Lee. First time I've said his name all afternoon, and we're already 6 minutes in. Normally, Penn State's trying to run it on the first play of the game, but no, they take a shot and it hits, and they score 7, and we've been back and forth since. Yeah, Devin Ford sort of lost his job since that Michigan game due to a death in the family, but Kevon Lee has stepped up along with Keziah Holmes and Holmes since. And, hey, still a 3-headed monster in the backfield, so, run it when you can. Clifford going to go down the sack back to the 20-yard line after, on the previous play, almost going down on the sack as well, but got rid of it and hit Lee on the screen, but on 3rd and long with the loss on the previous play. The sack here, 4th down, Penn State going to punt. So now these teams finally starting to settle in, which is a good sign with, especially just, I get, okay, 14-14, you want the offense to score as many points as you possibly can. But for this game to move forward and just, slow down, they need to settle in, relax, and take it one play at a time moving forward. Now, if Illinois with 7:47 to play in this first quarter can take advantage, start to control this game a little bit maybe on the road with an interim head coach, Penn State could, even with the fast start by both teams, be in a little trouble with Penn State, sort of digging themselves how many holes this year in the first half, and then not coming out of them until it's a little too late in the second half, and, ball game. You lost, you started out on 5, you've won 3 straight, of course, but now 1st and 10 from the 37, and Williams going to hit his intended target over the middle for 13 yards, and Illinois with a big 1st down pickup. Like, Penn State, yeah, the defense over this 3-game winning streak, with Penn State on offense running the ball better than what they've had. The defense has played better, yes, but could be 10 times better. They still need to learn how to tackle, for God's sakes. Covers been a little bit better, but they still, of course, yes, could tackle a little bit better. But explosive plays after explosive plays here with Illinois and Penn State for some unknown reason. Like, how is this and why is this happening right now? But, of course, the game, as always, is not decided on paper, it's decided on the field. So even with Penn State favored by 2 scores again today, barely covering last week, tied up at 14 here with Illinois, as mentioned. Nothing to lose. First down run there by Williams. Penn State can't stop him. He's the go-to quarterback right now. So it seems like Peters won't be coming back in anytime soon. But first down run there for the Illini. And they're going to move the 6 with 6.5 to play here in this first quarter. All tied up, still at 14 on the road at Penn State from the 38 in Nittany Lion territory. Out of the gun. And fake the give. Pass far side. Lance Dixon, a missed tackle. A few other missed tackles. And Illinois is going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Jesus Christ. Learn how to tackle. Why don't you? Yeah, like I said earlier and just a second ago, Illinois just leaving it all out there today. Seems like just nothing to lose. Going to bring everything in, kitchen sink. Hell, they're bringing all the houses that all these players and coaches grew up in on top of that, and throwing at the Penn State defense today, and they now lead 21-14. So back and forth. Something's got to give. It's just a matter of when. All right, the tight end doing a little twerk in the end zone of the celebration. But we'll see how this game unfolds. Now total of 35 points. Not even 10 minutes into this game, for God's sakes. Like, come on. What the hell is going on? Did both defenses forget how to play football today? Are they wearing their sunglasses at night and they can't see? I get it's a 5:30 mid-December kick on a Saturday night. And it's the first ever like this for Penn State in history. I assume the same goes for Illinois as well, unless they've played around this time, which I know they've done before. I know they had with playing a few times early in bowl season. But this is still technically a regular season game. It's Big Ten Champions Week, which is, of course, new this year, adding an extra game during that 8-game conference-only schedule. So we get 9 games. As mentioned, Penn State and Rutgers, the only 2 teams in the conference to play a full 9-game schedule. So congrats to both of them. Good for them. Penn State really hasn't had a whole lot of COVID issues, knock on wood. Win today, get a bowl berth. But, hey, if this keeps up, they lose, fall 3-6, you're probably not going to a bowl game. You're looking on to 2021. But as mentioned last week, still have a plan, of course, if Penn State doesn't go to a bowl game. So just be sure to tune back in live right here on YouTube for more live reactions, play-by-play of college football, the NFL, and professional wrestling. Like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below. A to-be-determined date on that, if, in fact, Penn State does not go to a bowl game. But if they do, of course, we'll end the season on a high note with the 2020-2021 Penn State bowl game, wherever it's going to be played, whoever it's going to be played against, so on and so forth. So 2nd and 7 after a few-yard gain on the first play of this drive currently going on. Handoff to 24, Kevon Lee, the Florida native. For the first time he's been in this cold of weather, along Keziah Holmes, also from Sunshine State. But a first down run for Kevon Lee, 1st and 10, Penn State from the 37-yard line. Out of the gun, trips near side. Clifford, 11 yards on the quarterback. Keeper up the middle, another first down for the blue and white. And Penn State once again continuing to wear those Penn State United logos on their uniforms throughout the 2020 season now. Insert number 7, Will Levis, in at quarterback, as Penn State also has a 2-quarterback system. Levis, of course, your more powerful runner, but he can also throw. He's going to be out of the gun, 1st and 10, looking to throw. Over the middle, it's going to be caught at the 33-yard line by Theo Johnson, the true freshman Great White North native at tight end, as Penn State also signed another few receivers at the wide receiver and tight end position this past week as well in recruiting during early signing day, and we'll get more into all those shortly. But right now, to me, it seems like we're almost at halftime, but no, we still have 4.5 to play in this first quarter, and it's 21-14 Illinois on top of Penn State. Another handoff from Clifford to Kevon Lee for 3 yards, 2nd down and 7 once again. So we'll see how this drive unfolds, of course. 4:09, Penn State with Joe Paterno picked up his 409th career win back in 2011 against Illinois. 4:09 and counting, now under 4 to play in this opening quarter. 2nd and 6 officially, they say, after a pick up of 4 to the 26-yard line for Penn State. Out of the gun once again, Clifford back in the ballgame, quarterback. Going to hand off again to Kevon Lee. Kevon Lee, first down run inside the 15, down at the 11. So yeah, both defenses non-existent. And I mean, first team to 100 is going to win this game. Like, are we playing on easy right now or something? Like, grow the hell up, man up on defense, quit playing your damn zone, and play defense, tackle and cover, and settle in, relax, and try to take over and control this game. Clifford going to hand off again for 2, and Kevon Lee going to get to around the 9.5 yard line there. So Penn State going to have 8 shots to punch it in here. And if they don't score to tie this game up, there's going to be something wrong. So 2nd and 8 from the 9. Motion man and Lee out of the backfield. And Clifford going to keep it. Gets to around the 5, maybe 6 yard line. Actually, that was Will Levis, excuse me. Number 7, Will Levis in at quarterback. So Penn State using the 2-quarterback system more than Illinois is, with Peters more your pocket passer, Isaiah Williams your dual threat. Clifford can do it all, but Levis, to give him a little bit of a break every once in a while, when they don't turn the ball over, he's more your running quarterback. But he can also, as mentioned, throws. He hit Theo Johnson on that first down pass a little bit ago. 3rd and 5, he's going to keep it. And they, of course, on 3rd and 5, run the damn quarterback draw zone read up the middle. And it's going to bring up a 4th down and 3. And how about you kick it this time, rather than go for it inside your own 10-yard line and not get it? Kick the field goal with Pinniger, take your 3, and then play defense and get back in it. But they're going to go for it. 4th and 3 from the 4. So they need the 1. They basically need a touchdown to keep this drive alive. Levis going to tuck and run. He actually gets in. Touchdown Penn State. All right, I'll take the 6. They're an extra point away from tying this game up again at 21-20. Like, you get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. 6 total touchdowns. 3 apiece by both of these teams here Not even at the end of the first quarter. What's the over-under on this? Well, whatever it is, I'm sure we already bypassed that. Not even at the end of the first. Pinniger extra point up and good. 21 all with 1:13 to play in this first quarter with Illinois and Penn State. A few 2-5 and 3-5 teams in the Big Ten this year. Both teams, all 3 timeouts remaining. Still trying to sit back, relax, get set, make sure. Hey, there's Brett Bielema. He's on the sideline. He, as mentioned, knew he was going to be there. I didn't know if he was going to be on the sideline or if, in fact, up in the box. But the last time he coached, as mentioned, a regular season Big Ten game was in 2012 with Wisconsin at Penn State. Again, the Nittany Lions won in overtime, 24-21. He, of course, left a week or so later for Arkansas after he led Wisconsin to a Big Ten title game and won the Big Ten championship that year as well. Of course, did not coach in the Rose Bowl as he won 3 Big Ten titles, but left for Fayetteville. Didn't have as much success there as he did in Madison with the Badgers, and for some reason, yeah, he left Wisconsin for Arkansas. Didn't work out. He got fired. He's been in the NFL the past few years under Belichick and the Pats, and just this past year with Joe Judge and the New York Football Giants. But after Lovie Smith was fired this past Sunday, which honestly wasn't that much surprise. Gus Malzahn, in my opinion, though, was at Auburn. We'll see what they do moving forward. Bielema's name did come up this past week, and then they made it official this morning around 9 o'clock, right as pregame shows were beginning. And then Bielema actually did an interview from inside of his car on the side of the road, as he was named the new head football coach for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Effective immediately, will take over immediately following today's game. Does not have any hand in this game today by any means, just because he's and hasn't been a part of this team. But incomplete there, 2nd and 10 for Illinois. But he is there. He's on the sideline. Good to see him back in the Big Ten, and I think he'll have success. He has led both programs he's been a head coach at 2 bowl games. Okay, you need at least 6 wins to go to a bowl game every year, so it has to speak for something. He's a few wins shy of 100 career wins. He's won a few conference championships. Yeah, the SEC West a little tougher than the Big Ten West, but him returning to the Big Ten is going to make the Big Ten stronger as a whole, more competitive, and hopefully he can get Illinois back on track. It'd be good to see, but we'll see what happens over the course of the next, of course, 10 months before the start of next year. But then he got a 6-year deal, so he's going to have time. And as Williams goes down in the sack by the other number 1 on the field, Jaquan Brisker, with Shaka Toney bringing down the house. Brandon Smith actually was the first one to hit him, untouched up the middle, and then Toney and Brisker bringing them down on the sack. Illinois now also going to punt. So both teams even tied up at 21 as Clemson scores once again, literally blowing out Notre Dame. And here we are with Notre Dame once again being the fraud that they are year in and year out, whether they're 10-0 or not right now. Hey, we're going to boycott the playoff even if we make it because families of players and our coaches can't go. Well, you think any other team's saying that right now? They're just scared to lose, is all. Yeah, they're playing in front of a few fans today, but and for the most part all season long they have. But we can't have fans in the playoffs. Well, we're not going to go because we know we're going to lose, but they don't want to say it. But Trevor Lawrence on the quarterback keeper And another touchdown for Clemson. They're rolling over the Fighting Irish now. 31-3 in the ACC championship game. A rematch from the same day Penn State lost to Maryland back on November the 7th. But that night, Clemson did not have Trevor Lawrence. But Notre Dame, it took them 2 overtimes to defeat the Tigers at home 47-40. So they got a few minutes to play in the third quarter. We just ended the first quarter with Illinois and Penn State. So at the end of one, all tied up at 21 with the Fighting Illini and Nittany Lions. Even with the 42 total points, 21 apiece, we're now going to have a punt apiece with both of these teams, which is a bit of a shock, honestly. Didn't think I'd ever say that, but yeah, here we are. Hey, you know, game's going to move forward here one way or another from start to finish. We're going to play a full 60, maybe even a little bit more with, you know, how this is playing out. But yeah, I don't think anybody, especially in the first quarter, expected 21-21 with Illinois and Penn State of all teams. But hey, game's not played on paper, played on the field, played on gridiron. So thank you for tuning in and watching my live reactions. Play live once again right here on YouTube. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Share hashtag college football. Chat questions and comments. Super chats, super stickers. Always greatly appreciated as well. So yes, as always, coming up at halftime, first half stats and scores, along with taking a look around the rest of college football with a little discussion on the college football playoff. But it's going to be, and coming in, I thought A&M was better than Notre Dame. The way they played earlier, and you know, from start to finish all season long, the way Notre Dame's playing now today, I get, you know, every dog has its day. Every team's going to have, you know, one game like this or two. Hey, now it's Notre Dame's turn. They're not going to have enough time to come back and win this, I don't think. But hey, you never know. Not over until it's over. It's going to be Alabama, whether they win or lose against Florida tonight in the SEC title game. A game, normally ACC title games 8 on ABC, but ACC and SEC switch time spots. The SEC title game is not until 8 o'clock tonight on CBS. So, and the other thing too, I noticed the Big Ten for the Big Ten championship game earlier today, they did not change the field, as the Colts have a home game against Texans tomorrow in the NFL. However, with the SEC title game later on tonight with Florida and Alabama, the Falcons also have a home game tomorrow, as do the Cowboys against the 49ers, and we had the Big 12 title game in Dallas earlier today. So I get the Panthers are on the road tonight, field's done up for the SEC title game, but as Brett Bielema was going to be interviewed from the sideline during this game now, as we begin the second quarter, and good to see him back in the Big Ten. Jahan Dotson on this punt return, going to be almost brought down and then brought down. I thought he was going to return that one too. So Brett Bielema's going to have to wait. Penn State going to have a 1st and 10 from around the 10. But yeah, Brett Bielema, the new head football coach at Illinois. He was hoping there was contact. Illinois reached out, and hey, they got a deal done, so that's all that matters. So 1st and goal after a good punt return by Penn State from the 10-yard line. Clifford going to hand off, and Keziah Holmes for 7 yards to the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal for Penn State as we begin the second quarter. Brett Bielema, in-game interview. New Illinois head coach on the sideline in attendance. Former Wisconsin, Arkansas head coach. He's had success, okay? And I feel like he's going to have more success. Illinois and Brett Bielema, right now, they're the perfect fit. So, 2nd and goal. It's just a matter of time, of course, just to see how it plays out. Penn State retakes the lead. 3-yard touchdown run for Keziah Holmes. touchdown for the blue and white, 27-21. Just back and forth. Like, we're honestly right now playing NCAA football on easy. And the first team, we'll say to 200 now, is going to win this game, for God's sakes. Like, come on. But 27-21. Penn State, finally the run game. Touchdown run there. Franklin clapping it up on the sideline, celebrating. All right, we'll take it. Another touchdown, 28-21. Penn State leading Illinois with 14:04 to play in this first half. And Bielema, of course, originally from Illinois. He's an Illinois native. Played at Iowa. Bounced around as assistant in college football before getting the head coaching job at Wisconsin, taking over for the great Barry Alvarez, who is, or was at least, on the playoff committee, but he's a top dog in the Big Ten still as the athletic director for Wisconsin. Bielema was at Wisconsin for almost a decade, left for Arkansas after 3 straight Big Ten championships. Why in the hell? Why and did you leave Wisconsin for Arkansas? No offense to Arkansas by any means, but like, I still don't, and he's getting asked about it once again. You can just see he doesn't honestly really care about it, you know. But like I said, he's been able, as Illinois calls for a fair catch at the goal line, it will be first and 10 at the line from the 25-yard line. 28-21 Penn State. He's been able to get teams to bowl games. He's had success. He's 3 wins shy of 100 for his career as a head coach. So, like I said, that has to speak for something. And he's a player's coach. Players of Wisconsin, players of Arkansas absolutely loved him. All right? And he's made bank as a head coach, for God's sakes. With, of course, Arkansas having to buy him out of Wisconsin. They bought him out by firing him. Wisconsin paid him all the money they did to be their head coach. He's been an assistant the past few years in the NFL, and now Illinois is hiring him for the next 6 years at almost $4.5 million a year. So you want to make a living getting into the football coaching business. However, yeah, going to be a long, strainful life, but at least you'd have some money in your pocket. But still, good to see Brett Bielema back in the Big Ten. I always liked him in Wisconsin, I did. And, I mean, going back to when he left for Arkansas, it's like, Arkansas? You're going to Arkansas in the SEC West, and you're going to try to compete with Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, year in and year out. Are you kidding me? Now, for the most part, his first 3 years, he did well. But then in 2017, it started going downhill, and you know they got out of it before it got worse and let him go. So they actually fired him on the field post game after he lost to Missouri at the end of the 2017 season. And he was assistant for the Patriots in 18 and 19 with the Giants this year. Announced earlier today as the new Illinois head football coach, effective immediately. Will take over moving forward. So see how he does with recruiting. They'll have a lot of just with how Wisconsin and Arkansas, with him as a head coach, have played. He'll have hogs up front, 6'5" and up on the offensive line, and they'll be running the football down your throat. Pass over the middle, almost intercepted by Penn State. 4th down for the Illini, and Penn State's defense holds, makes a stop. Illinois going to punt here once again, so Penn State settling in a little bit more now than Illinois is, playing a little bit better defense. Almost picked off by Lucada and then Daquan Hardy from Penn Hills down in Pittsburgh. But now as Dawson's back deep to receive this punt. Almost returned the last one of the house. Penn State already has a kickoff return for a touchdown today. Dawson returned a punt last week for a score, so special teams playing better as of late. But where the hell has it been all season long is what I want to know, like I said earlier. Fair catch at the 8-yard line, 1st and 10 for Nitwits from there when we return as Penn State leads the visiting Illinois Fighting Illini 28-21 with 12 minutes and change to play in this first half. So once again, thank you for tuning in and watching my live reactions, play-by-play live right here on YouTube. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe as always on social media. Scroll down, check those links out in the description below. Thumbs up button once more. Red subscribe button, little notify bell next to it as well. Share hashtag college football. Hashtag Illinois, hashtag Penn State help. Hashtag Brett Bielema while you're at it, as he's the new head football coach at Illinois. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super stickers. Always greatly appreciated as well. I'll get to those in a second. But, hey, we might as well just start off from the top with a few of the items I have listed here on the docket to say. But a 5:30 kick, hell, I don't even know what time it is right now. Probably almost 7, to be honest with you. As we're nearing halftime, as a half normally is about an hour and a half or so. A quarter is about 35 minutes with commercial breaks. But we had all the scoring we had, so this first half might be a little extra long. But we'll be here, of course, until this game wraps up. So we have 0-0s, and hopefully Penn State's with their 4th win at 4-5, and the potential bowl bid coming tomorrow, maybe even sometime later on tonight. But I would think, as mentioned earlier, by the latest around this time tomorrow, hopefully if Penn State wins today, the Nittany Lions will know where they're going for a bowl game and who they're going to be playing. Whether, as mentioned, it's going to be West Virginia, potentially TCU, or even Kansas State out of the Big 12. If it's any of those 3 teams, it's going to be out in Phoenix at Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, at an MLB stadium. It'll be the Cheez-It Bowl. And then in Charlotte, formerly known as the Belk Bowl, the Meineke Car Care Bowl, Belk Bowl. Now, Mayo, we're going to need a lot of whipped cream, though, for that bowl game with a potential matchup with Penn State, NC State, or even Wake Forest out of the ACC. But then if they face anyone out of the SEC, I'm thinking Missouri, as mentioned, and keep an eye out. That'd be a damn good game. I mean, honestly, all these 7-8 potential matchups. Missouri, along with West Virginia and TCU, with the way WVU's been playing this year, along with Gary Patterson, South Helm, the Horned Frogs, all their success. Mizzou with Eli Drinkowitz, a former App State assistant. Back in 2018, App State took Penn State to overtime right here in Happy Valley. I was there, and Lions came out on top. However, Drinkowitz then took over for Scott Satterfield, who left following that season for Louisville. 1 year as the App State head coach, now at Missouri. So the game would be, I'm thinking, at least similar to that App State game a few years back, with Missouri able to score points. As we saw last week, they beat Arkansas on a game-winning field goal. But if they play either Missouri, Auburn, before the home and home begins next season, Auburn looking for a new head coach, or even Ole Miss, it's going to be in Music City, USA, down in Nashville for the Music City Bowl. 2nd and 10 after an incompletion. Theo Johnson stepping up at tight end today. 2nd reception for him out to the 28-yard line. Big first down pickup. He's going to be the number 1 tight end next year because Freiermuth's going to be gone. He'll be in the NFL come April. He hasn't played since the Ohio State game, suffered a season-ending injury in the whiteout, but now we actually have a real whiteout with no fans, of course, cardboard cutouts, but Central Pennsylvania with the 2 feet of snow we received over the past 72 hours or so. 1st and 10 out of the gun, trips near side. Clifford going to hand off and no gain on the play. Stuck in the line of scrimmage. 11-11. Say your prayers. Penn State up 7, 28-21. We're in the fourth with Clemson and Notre Dame, along with Minnesota and Wisconsin. We'll get back to Boise State and San Jose State as well. But now 2nd and 10 from the 28 for Penn State. Same formation. Clifford going to hit Jahan Dawson. He makes a few men miss, and then is finally brought down around midfield, out past the 50, actually at the 47-48 yard line. 1st and 10 for the blue and white. Dawson's, of course, the number 1 at wide receiver, but we have had no Parker Washington by any means as of yet today. He has returned a kick, but no Clifford to Parker Washington just yet on offense. 1st and 10, Penn State. Ball at 48. Strange in motion. Clifford gonna over the middle after thinking about tucking and running. Airs it out for Isaac Lutz. A little too much of a bullet, and it falls incomplete. But all right, you gotta do sometimes. Incomplete over the middle. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 with 10:08 to play here in this first half. Get this run game going. Get the run game going. Kevon Lee, Keziah Holmes. Holmes has the rushing touchdown. And then, of course, Clifford, as he's going to tuck in the run, be brought down line of scrimmage. As well, 3rd and 10. He has the passing touchdown to Dawson. Kickoff return for Lamont Wade. 100 yards to the house. And then Levis on a quarterback keeper on 4th and 3 for a score as well. So 4 scores, and Abe Lincoln's Illinois Fighting Illini, they're down 7 points. 3rd and 10, 28-21, Penn State from the 48. Out of the gun, 3 wide. Trips actually near side, excuse me. Penn State here in the 2nd quarter. Right to left across your television screen, ready on auto dial. Clifford on the quarterback keeper going to be brought down about a yard and a half shy of the 1st down marker. So it'll be 4th and short with about 9 minutes to play here in the first half. See if Penn State goes for it or decides to kick a long field goal from the 38, 39 yard line with Jordan Stout, but no, they're going to go for it. 4th and 1, insert Will Levis at quarterback. They have 2 tight ends, and Strange and Johnson in the ball game as well. Illinois bringing everything. Penn State with a full house. 1st down run for the Nittany Lions. Penn State going to keep this drive alive, and they'll move the sticks. So 1st and 10. They're going to miss Michael Menon at center next year. I can already tell you that. They did sign a few linemen, though. Handoff, Kevon Lee. And they have a few linemen already in town, on the roster, bulking up for next year as well. So the thing is, as I've said all season long, even with being 0-5, the only good thing that come out of this, and then they're on a 3-game winning streak right now, with the youngness and the experience that those players are getting with the depth that they have, because they're young, experienced, and have depth, playing as we saw back in 2014 and 15, youngest team in the nation, 2016, 17, 18, 19, Big Ten title, how many New Year's 6 games, getting young players playing time. Kevon Lee on the carry, about a yard maybe, if that. So 2nd down. But at least they're getting playing time. They're getting experience. And moving forward into the future, hopefully over time, it'll all work itself out. And It'll all be fine and dandy, and they'll get back to their winning ways as they've done over the past 3 weeks. They were winless at Thanksgiving. They haven't lost since. And like I said a few weeks ago, as Dawson picks up a first down interception near side, it's back to Jahan Dotson every single throw. No Parker Washington. Penn State hurry up from the 16-yard line, third down. 3rd and 1, actually. They didn't give him the first down on that. So Kevon Lee gets the give, picks up a first down. So 1st and 10 Penn State now from the 14, as he picks up 2 on 3rd and 1. But Penn State does here on 1st and 10.
That's an area specifically where Illinois is pretty good against them. Well, I'll tell you though, I'm just impressed with what I've seen from this Illinois team. So many players not here tonight, but the ones that are here, they're playing at very high level.
Trips top your screen. Clifford going to hand off again. Kevon Lee going to lower his shoulder for 9 yards. It'll be 2nd and short. Yeah, Illinois has a lot of players out today. A lot opting out. A lot as Kevon Lee gets the give once again to the 1. It'll be 1st and goal. 1st and goal from the 1 now. Penn State going to try to take their first 2 touchdown lead today. And Clifford on the give. Kevon Lee in the end zone. Touchdown, Penn State. Penn State now leads 34-21. As we still got about 5.5 to play in this first half. It's a fight on State. Finally, with the run game, it's there. It's just the consistency. They have to be effective with it. Can't turn it over. We haven't had turnover since early on, and they split, of course. Extra point up and good, 35-21. Penn State now leading, visiting Illinois Fighting Illini in this Big Ten crossover matchup during Big Ten Champions Week, 6 days before Christmas. 35-21 New Lions with 5:32 to play in the first half. But the only good thing at that point that could have came out of all this was all the young players getting playing time, and then they still are during this win streak. So for the most part, the future still looks bright. Franklin's going to be around unless, of course, one big college job opens up, which I don't see happening right now. I mean, Auburn's really the only at this point in time after they fired Gus Malzahn. So maybe if you don't want to go back to the SEC, compete with Nick Saban and say to Alabama, okay, but it seems like Michigan's going to be keeping Harbaugh unless he leaves for the NFL. Tom Herman staying at Texas. Now, Franklin, of course, as well could leave for the NFL, could bolt, but we'll see what happens with the coaching carousel in both college football and the NFL. As mentioned, keep an eye out for upcoming videos right here on the channel with college football bowl predictions along with NFL playoff predictions, and then college football and NFL coaching carousel thoughts and opinions, as well as my college football bowl predictions will be, in fact, released on Tuesday. So keep an eye out for those once again. We'll get back to the action here shortly. But I said a few weeks ago, I mean, really the only thing I'd want for Christmas is a Penn State bowl game. For them to go to a bowl game, to have a chance to play a 10th game at 4-5 and finish at 5-5. And finish 500 average for the year after starting at 0-5, but winning 5 straight and then building off of that in the next year. And non-conference wise, you're gonna start out the season with a conference game at Wisconsin, but then Auburn out of the SEC will come to town. Home and home with them over the next 2 years. We'll have a home and home with West Virginia as well. The home and home with Virginia Tech was supposed to start this year, of course, didn't happen by any means with how things have played out. But now Vautech wants to get out of 25 deal. So maybe if Virginia Tech comes here in 2025, Penn State will go there in 2026. I'm sure they'll work something out, but maybe not, because there's just something about the state of Virginia that just irks me. I don't know what it is, but I tell you what, like, Virginia did the same thing to Penn State almost a decade ago now. As Penn State went there in 2012, Cavs didn't return the favor as they were supposed to. They scheduled a home and home then with Oregon. So we'll see how the future, of course, unfolds. But future very, very bright for the blue and white Penn State Nittany Lions, and they have a 35-21 lead over Illinois. Lawn Boys for life. Another rushing touchdown there. Levis has one, Holmes has one, Lee has one now as well. Dawson with the reception from 75 yards out from Clifford, and then Lamont Wade, 100-yard kickoff return for a score. So those are your 35 points for the Nittany Lions. And now here's our white capper, John O'Neill. We're going to have an offside, and the 5 yards on the outside was on Penn State. They're going to tack it on to the end of the run, so it'll be 1st and 10, Illinois from the 30-yard line. And there's a shot of the Nittany Lions shrine on campus down by Rec Hall, of course, snow covered, but everyone that was snowed in is hopefully out by this point. And we'll see what happens when we return. Penn State playing better on defense since this game, of course, began back and forth, 7-0, 7-7, 14, 7-14 apiece. Illinois took a 7-point lead, but Penn State scored a few touchdowns since, leading by 2 scores now, 35-21. So, like I said earlier, something's got to give eventually. It's a lot of football to be played, so the only Christmas gift I'd want would be a Penn State bowl game, and depending on where that's at or whoever it's against, I really don't care. As long as they get that 10th game. A lot of teams aren't going to be playing even half of that this season, just because of all the postponements and cancellations, and then trying to reschedule, and there's not as much time as they originally thought, of course. But you would have thought they would have already knew that, but of course not. So we'll see how everything plays out. But Penn State could very well be facing a few different teams out of the Big 12, maybe even out of the Pac-12. I know a few Pac-12 schools along with ACC schools, and this is what's going to open the door for a few teams that, as everyone's bowl eligible this year, you don't have to have 6 wins as always, but going to open the door for some teams that, even with only maybe 2-3 wins, could still go to a bowl game, because a few teams with more wins than them aren't going bowling because they have chosen not to. But they could face off versus a few teams out of the Big 12, maybe even a few out of Pac-12 as mentioned. But I highly doubt Pac-12. If anybody, probably UCLA, which honestly wouldn't be a bad matchup up against Chip Kelly and the Bruins. But for the most part, it's going to be somebody I'm thinking out of the Big 12, ACC, or SEC. And then, depending on who the opponent is, we'll then know the location, whether it's out west or here on the East Coast, whether it's in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Nashville, Tennessee. Now, if Vegas and the Pinstripe Bowl, along with a few of the other bowl games, didn't cancel, of course, yes, those would be possible destinations as well. But the thing is, with Penn State sort of in the middle of the pack, there's teams ahead of them, whether they beat them or not. They have their 9 games, along with Rutgers, the only 2 teams in the conference to play a full 9-game schedule. They might, even with Penn State's rep being, Penn State football, they'll travel well. Some places might allow fans, others won't. We'll see. Bowl games, whoever's in charge might want this team compared to this team, because it'll bring in more viewership, more money. So First and 10 from the 30 for Illinois. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll know an announcement by this time tomorrow at the latest. If not sooner, tomorrow, earlier in the day, as the college football playoff will, the two semis with top four will in fact be released by 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Then we'll know the New Year's Six, and then so on and so forth. But all the smaller bowls will, in the meantime, Philly each other out, and we actually already know a few bowl games. We'll get more into those a little bit later on. It's a hold. Throw the damn penalty flag. Pass near side incomplete. 3rd down and 9 for Illinois. So, as mentioned, as always, coming to halftime, first stats and scores. Take a look around college football. We'll preview some of the bowl games, but keep an eye out for my bowl predictions on Tuesday. 3rd down and 9. Third 9 from 31. And then Lance Dixon, along with Ellis Brooks and Shaka Toney on the stop. 4th down. Penn State going to get the ball back. When was the last time they scored 40 more in the first half? Oh, wait. They did it against Illinois back in 2005. I don't know if they've done it since by any means. But, no, they scored, I believe it was either 49 or 56 in the first half on the road at Illinois, following the loss at Michigan the week prior back in 2005. And then they won 63-10, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know, since then, if they've been able to score 40 points in the first half. I mean, hell, even the Cotton Bowl last year could be pushing that. Now that I bring that up and think about it, actually say it, because that was a shootout down in Big D with the Tigers and Nittany Lions, and who knows, maybe it'll, be Lions, Tigers, and Bears oh my with Penn State and whoever the hell they play in a bowl game once again by the end of the year. If it's Missouri or Auburn or Kansas State, like, come on, like, can it get any better? But we'll see how, as mentioned once again, everything unfolds. So Penn State, as a 15-point favorite, even with their 14-point lead at 35-21, not covering right now. So for some people, that's going to need to change. For some others, of course not. But during this current 3-game winning streak, Penn State's been able to run the ball 10 times better than what they've done all season long. Which, as mentioned, hopefully will continue today. And for the most part, it has. They have 3 rushing touchdowns, so that speaks for something. Whether they're from a few yards out or not, really haven't broke one yet, but when you run the ball and you pound it and keep pounding, you're going to break one eventually. So I get you have a few explosive plays, and like I said, potentially you hit a few of those today against a bad Illinois team, but Illinois has been doing the same to you until both teams settled in. Penn State playing better on defense now, forcing a few punts. We got 3 rushing touchdowns, a 75-yard passing touchdown, and then a 100-yard kickoff return for a score as well. So special teams even playing a factor. But even with turnovers, they're split. Just don't turn the ball over. If they can just hold on to the lead now, you're at home. Both teams are used to this weather. This is East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, Midwest football, Big Ten football this time of year. Just a little bit later on in the regular season here, right before Christmas. So hopefully next week, everyone will have a Merry Christmas and then a Happy New Year. We'll have the 2 college football playoff semifinals on New Year's Day with the Rose and Sugar Bowl. However, the Rose Bowl could very well be moved. We'll, of course, find out more details on that at a later date. But the college football playoff for the top 4 for the final time this year to set up the 2 semifinal matchups will in fact be released tomorrow, and hopefully we'll find out. Penn State wins today, as mentioned. where they'll be going bowling here to close out 2020. From the 30, 1st and 10 for Penn State. Dotson on the reception. He's got a convoy. He's off to the races down the far sideline. 35-20, 15-10, 5. Touchdown Penn State. Another passing touchdown from Sean Clifford to Jahan Dotson. And Penn State now with 41 points. A 20-point lead with 3:49 to play in this first half. It's like, I'm playing NCAA football, for God's sakes. Like, come on. If only, and it's a big if, I understand it, but if only they'd be and would have played like the way they're playing right now all season long. You know, they probably wouldn't have been 0-5, because a few of those games, if they wouldn't have turned the ball over and everything else went the way it did, they probably still would have won. So you probably have 5, maybe 6 wins now, but only 3, of course, hoping for their 4th. Up 3 scores. So Illinois going to have to do some coming back, which, by the way, Penn State's been playing on defense since Illinois took that 21-14 lead. Penn State with 4 touchdowns unanswered since. It seems like it's going to be a long rest of the night for Illinois, and then a long flight home back to Champaign, while Penn State would be popping some champagne, but we'll hold off until, of course, if they go to a bowl game, and then hopefully win that bowl game to do that. And then, as mentioned, if Penn State doesn't go to a bowl game, we'll still have one more Penn State live reaction stream by the end of the college football and NFL season, just to be determined date on that. So Dotson with 5 catches for $183 and 2 touchdowns today, a career high for him. No Parker Washington, though. No Keandre Lambert-Smith either. It went to Isaac Lutz, incomplete. Theo Johnson stepping up the tight end, 2 catches for him. Okay, good. But it's been Clifford to Dotson. They have 3 rushing touchdowns as well for Levis, Holmes, and Lee, along with a 100-yard kickoff return for a score. So, I mean, just anything and everything that, as it'll be a touchback, almost went out of bounds right at the pylon, so that could have been a 40-yard difference. Actually, a 15 from the 25 to the 40 on the kickoff out of bounds potentially, but it's a touchback, 1st and 10 Illinois from the 25-yard line. But so yeah, we'll see how this unfolds. But Penn State, for the most part, gonna, by the looks of it, with a 3 touchdown lead here, now covering, for everyone wondering, or that has their hand on that by any means. Well, now you know. You just like this game to end right now, wouldn't you? But we still got a little over half of football to be played. So, now Penn State playing damn well today. It's just like, where's this been all season long? You know, if only. It's a big if, I get it, but still, if only. If only they play like this from start to finish in every single game and then turn the damn ball over. They, you know, probably have a few more wins. Which, okay, it is what it is. Like, of course they didn't. They started out 0-5 for the first time ever. And now here we are. But we've gotten to this point, winning 3 in a row. Penn State has, hoping for the 4th. So we'll see how this shakes out. So 3rd down already for Illinois. 3rd and 5. Almost stripped by Brandon Smith there. It would have been a fumble. So now, even going back to, as mentioned, with younger players getting playing time, Penn State with a 3 touchdown lead, and you know, who knows if it will get any worse. You know, they'll get even more playing time today. I get it's garbage time, but incomplete, and Penn State settled in. Defense, how many 3 and outs now by Illinois, back to back to back. Another 4th down, and they're going to punt again. So, not by any means. I know I said mismatch earlier, But roster-wise, I mean, I get Illinois has all their players out for the most part, and today it's backups, but they were still beating them to a pulp there earlier. It was back and forth, but Penn State settled in on both offense and defense, and they've been making stops now and holding Illinois. So, Nissan Heisman watch. It's either going to be, as it was Trevor Lawrence at the beginning of the season, it's either going to be Kyle Trask or Mac Jones, two quarterbacks playing the SEC title game tonight for Florida and Alabama, respectively. And whoever has the better game is probably going to win. Now, the Heisman would have been released last Saturday. Not going to be released until another few weeks from now. But Clifford is Strange. Brenton Strange at the 29. Penn State, as Illinois has all 3 timeouts remaining, 2:04 and counting before this first half comes to an end. Penn State was second and 3. So they scored 49 points in this first half against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Be their most all season long, eclipsing the 39 they scored last week. And they finally go to Parker Washington. First down to number 3, the true freshman from the Houston, Texas area, Parker Washington. First and 10 on the gun, trips near side from the 46. Clifford going to hand off. Kevon Lee, or Keziah Holmes, 26, excuse me. Got Booba Miles, Miles Sanders, and Saquon Barkley's numbers back. Both true freshmen from Sunshine State of Florida. And Kevon Lee, Keziah Holmes. No Devin Ford. He's, as mentioned, sort of lost his job. But Noah Kane will come back next year, hopefully. Screen complete to Holmes. He's going to get about 7. He's going to be about, picks up 7 on 3rd and 8. Be 3rd and 1. Under a minute, 55 seconds and counting. Still 3 timeouts. They're in no hurry, though. They got a 3-touchdown lead. It's 42-21 from the 45. I think if they get a first down here, they'll call a timeout. Clifford looking to throw. Pump fakes, gets rid of it. It's caught, first down in Lions. And then Keandre Lambert-Smith actually gets a few extra yards and then runs out of bounds. He's going to come out for a play. Almost slips and falls on the Illinois sideline. But he got a first down, got out of bounds, so the clock's going to stop. Penn State doesn't even have to call a timeout yet. They still have 3. And with 38 seconds to play here, 1st and 10. Knocking on the door in field goal range. Right at the 34. So we'll, as it looks like TJ Jones is in at wide receiver, along with Brenton Strange. Clifford looking to throw. He's going to go down on the sack, though. Loss of about 5 yards. We'll see if Penn State calls a timeout or not here. Stop the clock. Illinois has 3 too, so if they call one, Penn State going to call a timeout. They're first here in this first half. Try to keep this drive alive for the most part. I mean, if you have to settle for a field goal, okay, I'm fine with that. But if you can come away with a touchdown here to go up 49-21 at the half, when you started everything off today, first play of the game, 12 seconds in with a 75-yard passing touchdown, and then back and forth to 14 apiece, and then down 7 at 21-14, but you haven't looked back since, and you now lead 42-21. Like, you're at home, you're controlling the game, you blow it, it's on you, of course, but from the 39, 2nd and 15. Clifford complete. And out of the 30 goes Brenton Strange. So they're going to the tight end a lot more today than what they've done all season long, which is a good thing, especially in absence of Pat Fryermuth, who's been out with that season-ending injury. So clock stops. It'll be 3rd down and 7 with 26 seconds to play in this first half, with Penn State having a 21-point lead. Out of the gun. Over the middle. It's caught by, and that is number 6, Cam Sullivan Brown, for the first time all year. 9 games in, and he finally has a catch. Him and Daniel George were 2 of the top receivers coming in the season, have barely played. Penn State going to hurry up. 1st and 10, incomplete, far side, intended for number 10, also from Florida, TJ Jones. 10 seconds to play, 2nd and 10. Still 2 timeouts, but you have 2 plays. And like I said, if you have to settle for a field goal, okay, I'm fine with that. Go up 45-21. But they've had kicking issues, but they've sort of, gotten out of that slump with Pinniger and Jordan Stout. So we'll see here. 2nd and 10 from the 17. Clifford looking to throw, stepping up, and incomplete, out of bounds with 5 seconds. 3rd down and 10, and here comes field goal unit for 3. Illinois going to receive the second half kick, of course, because they kicked off, and Penn State off the touchback, and 1 play in, 75-yard touchdown, 7-0 lead. Fighting Illini will get the second half kick down, whether it's going to be 21 or 24 here. Field goal for Jake Pinniger, just inside of 40. Kick's going to be up and no good, wide left. So as time expires to close out this first half, a very long first half at that, Penn State leads Illinois 42-21. So first half stats and scores now, along with taking a look around the rest of college football and discussing the college football playoffs. That's on everyone's mind right now. Penn State leading Illinois 42-21. Both offenses showcasing all their talents, leaving it all out there, no doubt about it, especially Illinois. But Brett Bielema going to come in and take over the reins. Sean Clifford for Penn State, along with Brandon Peters and Isaiah Williams for the Illinois Fighting Illini. At the half, once again, Penn State leading by 21, 42-21 after missing a 35-yard field goal to close out the half. Isaiah Williams is 6 of 12 for 113 yards passing, has 2 touchdowns and an interception. He also has 7 carries on the ground for 95 yards rushing. So he leads the team in rushing. Sean Clifford, as he has 6 carries for 17 yards on the ground. Will Levis, Orange Wrangler Jeans, 4 carries, 11 yards, and a touchdown. Penn State with 3 rushing touchdowns. However, Levis passing has 1 attempt, 1 completion, 23 yards to Brenton Strange. And then Sean Clifford is 13 of 16 for 262 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns both to Jahan Dotson, as Dotson has 5 catches for 183 yards receiving. So Sean Clifford is 13 of 16, 262 and 2 scores. Levis 1 of 1 for 23. Kevon Lee leads the way rushing for Penn State in the backfield. 13 carries for 62 yards and a score. Clifford 6 of 17. Keziah Holmes 3 carries for 4 yards. Or 3 carries, for 12 yards. 4, of course, averaged. with 1 touchdown, and then Will Levis, 4 carries, 11 yards, and a score. Cam Sullivan-Brown, first catch all season long there on that last drive right before halftime. Along with him and Daniel George, as mentioned, the top 2 receivers, along with Dawson coming into the season, they've barely played all season long. Parker Washington, Keandre Lambert-Smith have stepped up in their absence, but Cam Sullivan-Brown now has 1 catch for 14 yards here today and on the season. Dawson, 5 catches, a $183 receiving and 2 scores. Kevon Lee also has a catch, as does Keziah Holmes out of the backfield. However, at tight end, Theo Johnson has 2 catches for 42 yards. Brenton Strange, 2 catches for 15 yards. Keandre Lambert-Smith also has a catch for 11 yards, as does Parker Washington and TJ Jones for 16 and 11 yards, respectively. Turnovers were split. Illinois throwing an interception 1 play later. Penn State fumbling. Penn State also has a missed field goal now as well. However, with the 3 rushing touchdowns Penn State has, along with the 2 passing touchdowns Sean Clifford has to Jahan Dotson, Lamont Wade also has a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown for the blue and white here this afternoon in this first half, as Penn State leads the visiting Illinois Fighting Illini by a score once again of 42-21. Also in college football right now, some games currently going on. Ole Miss and LSU in a shootout in the SEC. Ole Miss leads the Tigers as Ed Orgeron is facing his former squad. LSU won't be going to a bowl game by any means. Postseason ban. They are sitting out after winning the national championship last year. Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin in his first year as the Rebel head coach. Ole Miss leads LSU 48-46 with a few minutes to play. We're going to put that game on as Clemson leads Notre Dame as well, 34-10 in the ACC championship game. Clemson Tigers once again going to win the ACC this season. Notre Dame, we'll see if they stay in the conference moving forward or if they go back to being an independent beginning next year. But for the glory at halftime, Penn State 42-21 once again over Illinois. Minnesota and Wisconsin tied at 17 in overtime. Minnesota with the football at the 20-yard line. San Jose State leads Boise State as they near the end of the third quarter in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Stanford and UCLA just got underway in the Pac-12. They're all tied up at 0. We now see some highlights from Clemson Notre Dame in the ACC Championship game. Trevor Lawrence, touchdown pass, as they trailed by 3. Led 7-3. They currently lead 34-10, and they're going to win. Clemson's going to beat Notre Dame 34-10. They actually had a pregame, I don't know if you want to call it ritual by any means, moment of silence maybe, walking arms, staring at each other across the field, whatever the hell that was supposed to be, I don't know, but it happened. So yeah, 34-10 Clemson over Notre Dame right now. And right now, those are currently the only games going on. Everything else, with the few games we have had today and will continue to have throughout the night, as we still have Alabama and Florida in the SEC Championship game at 8 o'clock on CBS, along with Tulsa and Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference Championship game, living on Tulsa time at 8 o'clock on ABC. Arizona State, Oregon State in the Pac-12 after dark as well. Following the Stanford-UCLA game that just got underway on ESPN. So Stanford-UCLA followed by Arizona State, Oregon State on ESPN. However, on Friday, just last night, in the Conference USA Championship game, we saw UAB win their second conference title in 3 years after suspending and canceling the program a few years back, defeating Marshall 22-13 to win the Conference USA Championship. Ball State also won their first ever MAC championship with some action up in Motown, Detroit, Michigan last night against the Buffalo Bulls. Lance Lepoid, former Wisconsin Whitewater and Buffalo, well, still current Buffalo Bull head football coach, was also candidate for Illinois. But, of course, that job went to Brett Bielema, as mentioned earlier. But Ball State over Buffalo last night, 38-28 in the MAC Conference Championship game. Nebraska also beat Rutgers 28-21. Oregon, they did not win the Pac-12 North. Washington did. However, Washington had a COVID issue, could not play. Oregon beat USC 31-24 then in the Pac-12 championship game. But currently, as mentioned, the only games right now going on in college football, as Minnesota and Wisconsin are in overtime once again, tied at 17. Clemson's about to beat Notre Dame 34-10. We got Penn State leading Illinois 42-21 at the half. Ole Miss and LSU in a barn burner shootout, 48-46. LSU now with the football, 2.5 to play. San Jose State still leads Boise State 19-16. Have that game on as well. Stanford just scored, now up 7-0 over UCLA. But earlier today, Ohio State came from behind and defeated Northwestern and won their fourth straight Big Ten championship over the Northwestern Wildcats. Second time in 3 years, matter of fact. 22-10. 22 low points for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Normally, of course, they're used to scoring a little bit more. But with the win, they should be in the college football playoff, as they're currently talking about that with Urban Meyer, former Buckeye head football coach, during halftime of Penn State, Illinois, right now on FS1. But it's going to be Alabama. It's going to be Clemson. It's going to be Ohio State. And then the question is, Notre Dame, they just got beat today by Clemson? No. I say Texas A&M. Texas A&M deserves to be that 4th team. It should be Alabama, Texas A&M in a rematch, and then give me Clemson, Ohio State in a rematch as well. Alabama, Clemson in the Sugar Bowl, Clemson, Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Yes, Alabama, Texas A&M in the Sugar, Clemson, Ohio State in the Rose. And then the winners will meet in South Beach, Miami, Florida on January 11th for the national championship game. That's what the college football playoff should do. Those should be your top 4 teams. The way Clemson just beat Notre Dame, I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be in the college football playoff. Because even with them saying, hey, we're going to boycott if you don't have fans in the stands, come on. And that game just went final. Clemson victorious 34-10 in the rematch from a month and a half ago over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, as Clemson wins another ACC championship. And if Notre Dame doesn't make the playoff, maybe they'll go to the Fiesta Bowl. Maybe they'll go to the Sugar Bowl. Maybe even the Orange Bowl, taking on Florida maybe. So maybe they'll still go to Miami, just not for the national title, just be for the Orange Bowl. Maybe even the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. I would think Oregon's going with the Pac-12 championship win last night over USC is going to the Fiesta Bowl. Oklahoma, I would think, with their Iowa State rematch win earlier in the Big 12 title game, they'll go to the Peach Bowl. Notre Dame with the loss, if they don't make the playoff, Cotton Bowl, maybe even the Orange Bowl. Florida's not beating Alabama tonight. If they do, I'd be shocked. That's going to cause a big stir to get Florida in potentially. And then Alabama still gets in then too, and then A&M gets screwed even though A&M beat Florida. But A&M didn't beat Alabama, as Florida did if they do beat them tonight, which I don't see it happening. So the playoff, it's going to be Alabama, it's going to be Clemson, it's going to be Ohio State, and I think it's going to be Texas A&M after Notre Dame just lost. So we'll see what they decide on. I mean, I'm not going to be shocked if Notre Dame gets in because of Notre Dame, but you just said this past week you're going to boycott the college football playoff when the college football playoff committee is the one choosing the 4 teams to play each other in the semis. Like, honestly, poor choice of words on it right now, especially before you lose to Clemson in the rematch that just went final. And like, if they don't get in, it's their own damn fault. You know, they're just scared to lose. Well, they just lost, so I think they'd be better off going to New Year's Six rather than the playoff and losing, not getting the national title game, because they'd lose in the playoff semis anyway, not make the national title, and be done. Notre Dame, go to because I wonder what Brian Kelly's going to have to say now. He probably doesn't have anything to say. But if I'm Notre Dame, I'd rather go to New Year's Six and win the bowl game and only have the one loss to Clemson, rather than go to the playoff. And I get you'd be competing for the national title potentially if you win the semi, and yeah, you're in the national title game at that point. But I just don't see that happening. I think it's going to be, and Oklahoma has a case too, but Cincinnati's ahead of them, and Cincinnati plays Tulsa at home. Tulsa time, 8 o'clock later on tonight. However, A&M's in front of both of them, so neither of them are getting in. That's why I'm saying, Oregon's going to the Fiesta Bowl probably. Oklahoma's probably either going to go to the Cotton Bowl or Peach Bowl. Notre Dame's going to go to the other, or even the Orange. Florida, with the loss to Alabama later on tonight, is going to go to the Orange again, probably. Florida, Notre Dame, the Orange Bowl, because Notre Dame technically has the ACC rep. That's ACC, SEC, what the Orange Bowl is this year. So that's probably what the Orange Bowl is going to be. I'm thinking Notre Dame, Florida, if Notre Dame doesn't get in the playoff. And then if Cincinnati's the highest ranked non-power 5, they're in the New Year's Six against either, whether it be the Peach Bowl, Cotton Bowl, or Fiesta Bowl, against whoever their opponent's going to be, of course, because the 2 semis in the college football playoff are the Rose and Sugar. So those are out for a New Year's Six, even though they're still New Year's Six, are part of the college football playoff this year. So we'll see how it all unfolds, of course, but those, and we'll find out tomorrow, of course, for sure, but that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. And then you look at the rankings, okay, top 25 college football playoff rankings. You're going to have, now Cincinnati loses, Coastal Carolina's right behind them, so Coastal Carolina sneaks in. But Georgia's also going to be sitting there. So Georgia might be playing in their own backyard in the Peach Bowl. And then we'd get, because Georgia could go to the Citrus Bowl then, you would think, if they don't get a New Year's Six. Or even Florida. And Florida beat Georgia, but Florida, with another loss. And then Indiana's sitting there. Indiana could go to a New Year's Six for the first time ever. USC, Northwestern are going to drop. Iowa not playing. BYU not playing. BYU actually already in a bowl game early next week, so their season's going to be coming down to the wire, coming to an end. And in the meantime, Wisconsin just beat Minnesota in overtime, 20-17, and have won Paul Bunyan's axe. And they'll be chopping down all the trees in the land of 10,000 lakes. Go Badgers. Row the boat. Sky you ma. Go Gophers. But Wisconsin, their season starting out with a win against Illinois on a Friday night to open up Big Ten play. COVID issues. Didn't play for a while. Had a few big wins, but also had a few big losses. But they beat Minnesota in their rivalry game against the Golden Gophers for Paul Bunyan's axe. And Wisconsin wins 20-17 as they get in overtime, I might add. They get to, as they should have played Penn State today. Wisconsin should have. Wisconsin gets their third win of the season, as they're only 2-3. Only played 5 games until then. As mentioned, Penn State and Rutgers, the only 2 Big Ten teams to play full 9 conference only schedule. But Mississippi State beat Missouri 51-32. Army beat Air Force 10-7, so Commanders and Chiefs trophy going to go to them. What we got score-wise now? LSU just scored. They're up 53-48 on Ole Miss. Under a minute to play. Ole Miss has the football though, so we're gonna turn that game on as mentioned. As Clemson celebrates their ACC championship win over Notre Dame, we'll put on Ole Miss and LSU as they've put up over 100 points. Under a minute to play. Checking in with this SEC West showdown. Ole Miss could potentially, as mentioned, be an opponent for Penn State in the bowl game. But then Wisconsin with the overtime win, 20-17, yes, over Minnesota. So Minnesota, after their historic season last year, I guess 2020, sort of a down year though for them. We still got at the end of the third quarter, San Jose State leading Boise State 19-13 now. Broncos just scored 40 seconds to play, excuse me. And as soon as it turned on, of course, LSU is going to take a knee. They get the ball back, and the Tigers are going to beat the Ole Miss Rebs 53-48. So that was pointless, of course, turning this game on. But in the meantime, we're back from halftime, and we're about to begin the second half with Illinois and Penn State as the Lions lead 42-21. And LSU is going to beat Ole Miss 53-48. We'll actually put on Stanford UCLA until, of course, Alabama, Florida begins. Yep. So Stanford 7-0 over the Bruins. All right, that's that. That's that. We'll keep that on post game with some highlights, and then UCLA from the Rose Bowl hosting Stanford in some Pac-12 After Dark before, as mentioned, Arizona State, Oregon State later on ESPN as well. Yes, now about to begin the second half with Illinois and Penn State. Penn State on to kick off. And it'll be a touchback. First and 10 on the line from the 25-yard line. So yeah, LSU just beat Ole Miss 53-48. Edward Orgeron gets revenge for the former team that fired him. However, he just led LSU to national title, so I think he's long gone with that, at least his concern. San Jose State leading 19-13 over Boise State once again. Stanford 7-0 over UCLA. But Ohio State won the Big Ten earlier, 22-10 over Northwestern. A&M beat Tennessee 34-13, as did Oklahoma over Iowa State 27-21. We also saw Utah before this game began defeat Washington State 45-28. Touchdown Bruins, extra point away from tying their game up with Stanford at 7 apiece. And then Mississippi State once again 51-32 over Mizzou. Clemson beat Notre Dame to win the ACC 34-10, and then Wisconsin just beat Minnesota in overtime 20-17. the 17 for Paul Bunyan Zacks. 2nd down and 7, and Illinois going to be about a yard shy there. It'll be 3rd and short. Seems like for some reason there's a few snowflakes falling over in State College, hitting the ground, but that's nothing new compared to what we've had as of late. 1st down run for Illinois. But did that halftime seem extra long after the very long first half with Illinois and Penn State scoring as many points as they did? Of course, 42-21 Penn State here over Illinois as we begin the 3rd quarter. From the 37, 1st and 10. Isaiah Williams over the middle looking to throw. It's going to be incomplete. Wide open. Receiver dropped. Got to catch that. Just absolutely ridiculous. So pathetic you can't catch football. Should go try out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Be the newest member of the Stonehands. 2nd and 10 from the 37 after the incompletion. Williams going to tuck and run, and then he's brought down by Jesse Luketa and Jaquan Brisker after a pick of about 2 yards, so 3rd down and 8. As a few minutes have ticked off here in this 3rd quarter, but see if Penn State defense can make a stop here, as they did time and time again after finally getting settled in with all the scoring early on in the 1st quarter. Shutting out Illinois since being down 21-14. And PJ Mustipher hasn't, he's played, but he really hasn't done a whole lot this season. He's there. You know, he's wrecking havoc up front. Takes down Isaiah Williams on the sack with his big neck roll. So, good for him to bring down Williams to force an Illinois punt. Penn State going to get the football back. Jahan Dawson back deep to receive. So, a quick 3 and out by Illinois on their opening drive here in the 2nd half. Penn State from the 25. Going to let it roll back around the 12-yard line. And that's where Penn State will begin their opening drive in this 2nd half with a 42-21 lead. 1st and 10, blue and white. Get the run game going once again. Just run the football. You have a 3-touchdown lead. You have 3 rushing touchdowns along with 2 passing and then a kickoff return for a score as well. But just get the run game established. Don't give away too much, though, to whoever your opponent is for a bowl game, potentially. But, you know, this is how Penn State's been all season long, so there's not like anything they'd be extra, at least, giving away anymore. So, deep ball down the middle, incomplete, 10 for 13. Keandre Lambert Smith from Kip Sabian, 757 country. And into triple coverage. Couldn't come down with it. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10 for Penn State, as they'll have a 2nd and 10 from the 12-yard line, out of the gun, 3 wide, maybe a little bit of a false start, but we have hardly had any penalties today from good old John O'Neill, the white capper himself, who normally, for the most part, as I do believe this is his 2nd Penn State game this season, as he had the Rutgers game, or Michigan game a few weeks back, if I'm not mistaken. He's normally trying to screw him over left and right. Now, earlier we saw in Oklahoma, Iowa State, among a few other games, a few very, very bad calls that, hey, if it's a penalty, call it. If not, don't. I don't care if it's targeting or not. Like, give me a break. And Matt Campbell had a reason to be mad earlier. And no wonder the hot mic caught him yelling, "That's bullshit" to the ref like 10,000 times. And his name's going to come up potentially once again for some openings in college and the NFL. Maybe he takes the same route Matt Roll did last year, leaving Baylor for the Carolina Panthers. However, the more I think about it, the more I think Matt Campbell is going to be staying at Iowa State moving forward. We'll see. Penn State with a punt after Clifford going down on the sack. So, a punt contest now after all the points we scored in this first half. Neither offense wants to do anything or can't do anything for that matter, because both defenses have stepped up. So, a 3-and-out by both Illinois and Penn State on their opening drives in the second half. And Penn State, they're on the punt. Illinois going to get the football back. Still down 21. 3 scores. Penn State leading 42-21. So once again, thank you for tuning in and watching my live reactions play live right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Week 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links, as always, in the description below. Thumbs up button, red subscribe button with a notify bell next to it as well. Share hashtag college football. I've had another great day here on a Saturday, late December before Christmas with college football. But if you have chat questions or comments, super chat, super stickers, those are always greatly appreciated as well. I'll get to those in a second. But wrapping up halftime report here real quick, just to see if anything's changed by any means. Okay, UCLA had a touchdown, got taken off. They settled for a field goal. Stanford leads 7-3 over the UCLA Bruins in the Pac-12. San Jose State now with another touchdown, leading 27-13 over Boise State, as we had on at least. Of course, with Penn State hosting Illinois, Clemson, Notre Dame in the ACC title game. We had Minnesota, Wisconsin on as well before the Badgers beat the Gold Gophers in overtime 2017. Mountain West Conference Championship game still going on. So the Spartans of San Jose State in their new home away from home in Vegas, leading the Boise State Broncos 27-13 once again. So yes, now with those 3 games that I currently have on, from left to right, Boise State, San Jose State, Stanford, UCLA, Illinois, Penn State, those are currently the only 3 games on right now. We still have to come though later on tonight, the SEC Championship along with the American Athletic Conference Championship. Alabama, Florida, Tulsa, Cincinnati, and then a Pac-12 after dark with Arizona State, Oregon State. That is pointless, but everything else has gone final. Yesterday, UAB, as mentioned earlier, beat Marshall to win Conference USA. Ball State beat Buffalo to win the MAC. Nebraska beat Rutgers last night on the road as well, finishing both teams with 3 wins, building towards next year now. And then Oregon not even winning the Pac-12 North. Washington couldn't play. The Ducks beat the Trojans, USC 31-24 to win the Pac-12. They'll be going to the New Year's 6. Everything else from earlier has gone final. Ohio State won the Big Ten, beat Northwestern 22-10. Texas A&M 34-13 over Tennessee. Oklahoma got revenge for one of their 2 losses against Iowa State earlier this year, 27-21 over the Cyclones to win the Big 12. Utah beat Washington State 45-28. Army 10-7, winning the Commander-in-Chief Trophy over Air Force. And then LSU also beat Ole Miss, as mentioned, 53-48. 51-32 for Mississippi State over Mizzou. Wisconsin beat Minnesota in overtime 20-17. Thought at a point in time early in this first half, potentially this game was going to be going to overtime with all the scoring we've seen. But now a 2nd down and 4 from the 39 for Illinois after the Penn State punt. We also had Clemson win the ACC 34-10 over Notre Dame as well a short time ago. Coming up shortly as well, we will take a look at next week's bowl games. But as mentioned, keep an eye out for my bowl game predictions on Tuesday, along with some NFL playoff predictions at a later date once the NFL regular season, of course, comes to an end. College football, NFL, coaching carousel as well. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Keep those chat questions and comments coming. We'll get to them in a second. 3rd down and 5 Isaiah Williams on the quarterback keeper going to be rushed out of bounds by Jonathan Sutherland and Adisa Isaac, but he picks up a first down, so first down Illini. We are Penn State, and Penn State is up 42-21. So, thanks for tuning in and watching. From the 33. Williams on the keeper, and nowhere to go. Good pressure there by Smith, Musford, Brisker, and I believe Ellis Brooks, if I'm not mistaken. Disa Isaac as well. And Illinois now is second and long. 2nd and 14 officially. Fake the give to the back on the RPO. Pass can be caught in the flat by the tight end. Sutherland and Smith on the stop. It'll be 3rd down and back to the original line of scrimmage here, 3rd down and 10. With 8:14 to play in the 3rd quarter. From the 33, yeah, Illinois is probably going to go for it here on 4th down if they don't get it. Over the middle, it's tipped and then almost caught at the 20. Incomplete. Good coverage there by Marquise Wilson. And a 4th down and 10 for the orange and blue. Almost caught. It still should have been caught. It was deflected by Ellis Brooks. Still almost caught. Should have been caught and then dropped. Incomplete. See if they go for it here. They are 4th and 10 for Illinois. Penn State looking to bring 3. Actually, they bring 5. And he goes down on the sack, strip sack. Penn State recovers the fumble. Penn State would have been getting it back anyway. But Penn State now 1 up in the turnover category here today against Illinois as they signal Penn State football following the fumble recovery. Brandon Smith recovering that fumble on the strip sack on Isaiah Williams. Penn State getting the football back. 1st and 10 on offense when we return. Up 21, 42-21 at home. 6 days before Christmas against Illinois. So yes, we are in fact and will always be Penn State. As mentioned a little bit ago, a few different potential bowl matchups, if you want to get into that. Like I said earlier, I mean, they could be taking on West Virginia, even Auburn. 2 teams that they have homes with over the next 5 years. Virginia Tech was also on that list, but after they announced they would not be participating in a bowl game this year, okay, you have to take them off the list. But for the most part, I'm thinking they're going to be Penn State if they go to a bowl game, which with a win today, you think they would. At 4-5, 4 in a row after 0-5 start. Hopefully they can win 5 in a row, finish at 5-5, 500 average for the year, and build off to next year. Because the future's still bright. They have all the talent in the world. If they can just all put it together and run the damn ball and don't turn it over and play good defense, they'll be fine. Believe me. And especially with the special teams aspect today and all the explosive plays on offense with the passing game. Just open it up. I get Illinois' not Illinois of, the 1980s and 90s by any means, but still, come on. But they'll be facing a team, I'm thinking at least for the most part, as mentioned earlier, either out of the Big 12, the ACC, or the SEC. And those three potential matchups are either going to be out west in Phoenix, Arizona, or here on the East Coast in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Music City, USA, down in Nashville at LP Field, Nissan Stadium, home of the NFL's Tennessee Titans. Charlotte, of course, home to Carolina. They're on the road in Green Bay tonight with some NFL Saturday Night Football. However, currently right now in the NFL, with Buffalo in Denver taking on the Broncos, the Bills lead and will beat the Denver Broncos as they got under 2 minutes to play. Score right now 48-19. An absolute blowout. But, I mean, hell, even Denver might even move on from Vic Fangio. Bronco John might even open up again. Had a few teams over the past few years, they can't, in the NFL at least, they can't seem to get it right with whoever the hell they hire as a head coach. So then this goes to, hey, Jim Harbaugh going to leave Michigan to go elsewhere? He's played for a few that could open, the Chargers and the Bears. Jets is going to be open, you would think at least, if they fire Adam Gase. They're the only winless team that will finish it 0-16, I'm thinking. Trevor Lawrence, of course, is going to be the number one pick, so we're all thinking too, but from now until April, we don't know a damn thing until it actually happens. And, none of us expected all this high scoring today with Illinois and Penn State, but here we are. It's 42-21. Penn State with the ball back, first and 10 from the 39-yard line. Clifford on the give, and about a 3, maybe 4-yard gain up the gut for, I do believe that is Kevon Lee. Illinois, for some reason, signaling that they have the football off of a fumble. So, just as we saw earlier with an interception, Penn State a play later, turning it over. Penn State recovering a fumble. And then that ball's out. That's a fumble, but Penn State recovers. So Penn State going to hurry up and snap this, hopefully. 2nd down and 6. Keep it. They're going to actually take a look at it. But Penn State recovered. Penn State recovered, did they not? Now, if they didn't, it's going to be Illinois football because that's a clear-cut fumble. And they're reviewing this now. So they have to find undisputed video evidence to overturn this. Timeout for Illinois. They're going to take a look at this and review it. But it looks like a fumble. But Penn State recovered, did they not? Yeah, that ball's out, but Penn State recovers, I thought. Yeah, I thought he did. But just as we saw with turnovers earlier, Illinois with the interception, a play later, Penn State fumbles. Now, Illinois just fumbled. Penn State a play later, fumbled, but by the looks of it, they recovered, but they didn't. Okay, now they're not even reviewing it. Illinois just called a timeout. So 2nd and 6, Penn State. 2 yards for Kevon Lee. It'll be 3rd down and a long 4. And, I mean, both these teams, honestly, here. 3rd and 4. I mean, Illinois, yeah, going to try to come back and make it a game, but it's a little too late now. Penn State, just play it safe and run the ball. I mean, you're up 3 scores. You don't need to do too much. Like, don't overdo it. And over the middle, dropped by Dotson. You have 5 catches, almost 200 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. Yet you drop a 5-yard slant over the middle on 3rd down, which brings up now a 4th and 4. Penn State's going to punt, I would think, hopefully. Yeah, they're going to punt. Punt, pin them deep, make them drive. They can't do a damn thing anyway. So, why not? No, I don't think Harbaugh is leaving Michigan. I don't. He has 1 year left on his contract, of course. So, talk from now until the end of next year. It's all going to be Jim Harbaugh in Michigan in the NFL or elsewhere. But a fair catch by Illinois at the 10-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Fighting Illini from there when we return. Penn State leading 42-21 with 6.5 to play in this 3rd quarter. there's all the cardboard cutouts all snowed in the 2 feet of whiteout snow Central Pennsylvania received just the other day. But hopefully everyone's staying safe. Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Hopefully you had a happy Thanksgiving last month. Hopefully you have a Merry Christmas next Friday, and then a Happy New Year. Or Happy Holidays if you're one of those people this time of year, moving out of 2020 into the new year, into 2021, with a lot of college football and NFL action still to come, along with professional wrestling. WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs TLC tomorrow night. So be sure to tune back in live right here on YouTube for those live reactions. Play the Steelers on the road against the Bengals Monday night as well. Live reactions play of that with WWE Monday Night Raw live right here on YouTube. So be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below. But no, I honestly don't think Harbaugh is going to be leaving. If he leaves, they're going to fire him, which they're not going to fire him. He'll leave on his own terms. So he's going to be at Michigan for the time being. If they would have fired him, they would have fired him by now. And if he would have, left for one of the NFL jobs that's already open, the Lions, Texans, or Falcons, he would have left by now, and not wait until a few other, jobs open up potentially with, the Chargers, Bears, Jets, maybe even the Broncos, a few others potentially as well. We'll see how it all unfolds as always. Coach Carousel with college football and the NFL, always hectic, but we'll get more into that with the college football bowl games and playoff predictions with Coach and Carousel, thoughts and opinions as well. So keep an eye out for those videos right here on the channel. And thank you once again for tuning in and watching. But now, Buffalo just defeated Denver 48-19 for anyone wondering. Carolina, Green Bay to kick off about a half hour or so. So once this game wraps up, and then of course once Alabama, Florida kicks off here shortly as well on CBS, we'll turn that game on. But with Illinois, Penn State, our good old Big Ten commercial from the Midwest in corn country to NYC, all 14 teams in the East and West respectively showcase. I've always liked that commercial. I've always liked the band commercial, although the Big Ten bands they sort of did away with this year. But then Penn State rolled out, for the Glory one that some people are seeing. But no, currently we got Boise State, San Jose State, Stanford, UCLA, and Illinois, Penn State on, as currently 3 games on. But Alabama, Florida about to kick off on CBS, so we'll get that on momentarily to this title, along with Tulsa and Cincinnati. As I look, and it's almost Tulsa time, as the Golden Hurricanes and Bearcats will do battle for the American Athletic Conference Championship. So Cincinnati wins, they'll be the highest non-Power 5, they'll be in New Year's 6. They lose, it's going to be Coastal Carolina, who Penn State has both played at home during a few different occasions in the non-conference slate. Cincinnati a few times, but Coastal Carolina only once when they were still an FCS opponent back in 2008. Incomplete far side for Illinois. Second down. Keaton Ellis on the coverage. Actually, third down and 7. Out of the gun, trips near side on 3rd down and 7 from the 14-yard line. Williams over the middle. It's going to be caught for about 3, maybe 4 yards, but then Ellis Brooks on the stop. Hardy nearby as well. 4th down, Illinois going to punt. But 2 NFL games here today. Normally, they do have a few NFL games today and next weekend, like they will as well, the triple header with Bucks, Lions, Cardinals, Niners, along with the Dolphins and Raiders, and playoff seeding matchup for the AFC playoffs. Next Saturday night, Illinois on to punt. Illinois going to run a fake punt. They actually get it away, and then the punter gets drilled, so the ball was kicked, and it's going to roll out of bounds around the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Penn State from there. 4:44 to play in this third quarter. 42-21 still, as we haven't seen a single point tacked onto this scoreboard since the second quarter. But 42-21, a 3-touchdown lead, a 3-touchdown lead. So 42-21, Penn State over Illinois. We'll get back to the action shortly. The Bills win. They clinch the AFC East, so they're in the playoffs. Will be as a wild card, and they host the New England Patriots tomorrow. With Bills, Broncos, and the Panthers, Packers still to come. So the Chargers beat the Raiders on Thursday in overtime. That's a good game. A few good games tomorrow. Seattle and Washington, Eagles, Cardinals, Chiefs, Saints, Giants. Monday night is Pittsburgh and Cincy. So, triple header next weekend. But no, normally today's the day that college football bowl games do in fact begin. But because of how the season's gone with the schedule, we were actually supposed to have a bowl game today. One. University of Texas San Antonio was supposed to play SMU. SMU backed out. So University of Texas San Antonio now is now scheduled to play in the First Responder Bowl next Saturday at 3:30 against a to-be-determined opponent. They'll find out that hopefully tomorrow. All the bowl games should be announced by this time tomorrow night. Hopefully Penn State's included, of course. But bowl games will in fact begin, as it is now 8 o'clock. So let's put on, before we move any further, let's put on Alabama and Florida and this year's nightcap for the SEC championship game, which normally, as mentioned earlier, is at 4 o'clock. This year, they switched with the ACC. The ACC was earlier at 4 o'clock on ABC, and now CBS is getting the night game with Alabama and Florida, but with the rematch with Clemson and Notre Dame from early November, a Saturday night game on NBC. Well, have it be a Saturday afternoon, and then have Alabama, Florida, after Florida threw all their shoes away and lost LSU last week. This game not as hyped up as it was once going to be, so we thought, but we're going to get Alabama Clemson on here for a second. Back here in the third quarter. Come on, work with me. It's not that hard to hit a button. Nearly 30 years ago, college football universe, what is it, Star Wars? Now, this very well could be the final SEC football championship on CBS. The SEC is leaving CBS starting in a few years, but that could, be bumped up. SEC is going to be exclusive to ESPN. CBS is going to have to figure something out. But collide and reign. It was Alabama and Florida from historic Legion Field in Birmingham. And then, of course, it's been every year in Atlanta, the old Georgia Dome. Now Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I don't get why Lucas Oil Stadium couldn't change the field earlier, as everyone else did. But, especially with all the NFL games tomorrow, it makes no sense. But, and hell, I remember watching that 08 Alabama-Florida game with, that was the second of two natties for the Gators in 3 years with Urban Meyer. And then the following year, they lost to Bama. Alabama won the title. Urban had his heart attacks and then, retired and came to Ohio State. So we got a targeting review now. Penn State up 42-21 with the ball. See a replay here, but yeah, you better think this through there, Zebras, and tell us something good here. Has been on all season long, no doubt about it. No fans in the seats over at Beaver Stadium right here in Happy Valley, but they had a big start me up. I'm sure they played Sweet Caroline for the two teams. If they didn't, they should have for all the home games. And Penn State actually got an extra home game with Big Ten Champions Week today. But and Illinois is going to be actually coming back on the schedule over the next few years. At further review, personal foul targeting on Illinois. He's going to be ejected. He's done for the game, done for the season. He'll have to sit out the first half of the first game next year if he's even coming back. Which, that's stupid, honestly. Like, it should just be for the season. Yeah, it's going to carry over into next year if he's going to stay. Which, that's stupid. Like, it should end at the season for a role like that. I'd understand if it's going to roll into the next game, but if you're not playing another game, have it end. Not into next year. Handoff, or actually Clifford fakes the give to Kevon Lee, keeps it for himself. Picks up about 5, maybe 6 yards. Second down, but roll tide, or you're doing the chomp. It's Alabama and Florida in Atlanta for the SEC Championship. Alabama wins, they're in the playoff. They lose, they're in the playoff. Notre Dame lost earlier. They're probably still going to be in, even though they shouldn't. It should be Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. Cincinnati doesn't have a shot, unfortunately. Florida and Georgia here don't either. So there's not really anyone else in contention that could somehow, someway get in. But a night SEC game on CBS, Alabama and Florida about to kick off, as is Tulsa and Cincinnati. We'll actually turn that on after Boise State, San Jose State wraps up here, as we got a 7-point 27-20 lead. But Panthers-Packers almost about to kick off as well in the NFL. And the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, it's either going to be Mac Jones or Kyle Trask. Whoever wins this game is probably going to Heisman. Trask should win it, though, to be honest with you. He should. A minute and a half to play here in the third quarter, so we'll dive into bowl games momentarily. I know we still got to get the Penn State football recruiting, so don't worry, I didn't forget about it. We'll get to it in a second. Third down and about a yard after a few yards run there by Kevon Lee, number 24. Is it Kevon or Kevon? Because it's been Kevon all season long, but I just have a feeling like next year rolls around, it's going to be Kevon Lee. I don't know why, I just do. I was thinking about that the other day. Looks to be enough for a first down. Actually, 4th and a yard, so 4th and 1 for Penn State. They're going to go for it again and score like they did last time. Score for the first time in this third quarter for either team, for that matter. After all the scoring in the first half, we've been shut out in this third quarter with double zeros. Until 4th and 1, Levis in the ball game at quarterback, Dotson in motion. Levis looking to throw. It's going to be caught by Brenton Strange. They run a tight end screen in the flat, and he dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Penn State. He's even got some grass to show for it on his face mask. Getting down and dirty. 48-21. Levis with a rushing touchdown and now a passing touchdown in today's game. Here comes Alabama. Here comes Florida. This is going to be a damn good game. Damn good game for this championship. So Penn State with another 6 pending this Pinniger extra point. Last time he was on, though, he missed a 35-yarder to close out the first half. Extra point up and good, 49-21. Most points all season long Penn State scored. Hell, you combine a few of the losses with the points they scored in those games, you don't even get 49. They've scored 49 against Illinois solely today. And he put his left arm at the 1 after stiff arming a guy, picked up the first down on 4th and 1, dove for the pylon near side, and got in touchdown Nittany Lions. Fight on, fight on, Penn State. S-T-A-T-E, go State, oh. $49-21. I'm just eager to find out, anticipating a bowl bid and who the opponent is going to be and when that game is going to be played. We still got 15 minutes and 20 seconds to play in this game here, but you sort of got to look ahead now. And we'll get into the bowl games along with recruiting, so stay tuned. But a touchback on the kickoff. First and 10, Illini from the 25-yard line. And Illinois is going to be fine moving forward. Brett Bielema was coming in as new head football coach. I think it's a damn good hire. It's a great hire for both sides. I think it's a good fit. Penn State fans, Big Ten fans as a whole, know what Brett Bielema was capable of doing. We saw what he did at Wisconsin with the 3 Big Ten titles. And then for some reason he left for Arkansas. Of course, it didn't work out for him. He got fired. But now he's back in the Big Ten, and he's going to be taking over for Illinois. As that news broke earlier this morning. He's actually in Happy Valley in attendance watching this game. Can't be happy by any means with what he's seen after they went up 21-14 because they've been shut out since. Penn State leads 49-21. But first and 10, Brandon Peters back in the ball game at quarterback, and it's incomplete. He couldn't even hit the broadside of the barn on that pass. Incomplete. Jesus Christ. Second and 10. He's a former Michigan quarterback, transferred to Champaign. Penn State's going to be popping some of that a little bit later on, hopefully, and after the bowl win. But I'd hold off after tonight to do it after the bowl win, if they even go to a bowl game and win that. So, especially starting out 0-5, and then you win 5 in a row to finish at 5-5, like, yeah, everybody needs to, put a few back at that point, so. This will do it for the third quarter. Penn State 49-21, because what a season it's been. From start to finish, everything in between. I tell you what. But 49-21 at the end of 3. Penn State at home in the latest regular season game in Beaver Stadium history this December the 19th, 6 days before Christmas 2020. Hopefully everyone will have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, or Happy Holidays if you're one of those people. I say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, because that's just how it is, and that's the only way I say it. But everyone has their own opinion. Everybody says it different. I get it. I totally understand it. But and that's why I say, if you're one of those people, let's say Happy Holidays. Okay, it's Happy Holidays to you too. But just starting out 0-5, 4 in a row now. Potentially win 5 straight. Like, just the fight that the kids have shown, all the players, not backing down until everything's settled. It's just so. We'll see what happens, of course. We're underway now with Alabama and Florida. Tied with the ball. First 10 from the 30-yard line. So this is going to be a good game. Alabama in their road whites. Florida in their home blue uniforms with shoes on tonight. So that's a good sign. At least they're playing with shoes, and they're not throwing them all over the place and costing their team a victory. But no, so we'll see how these games unfold. Looks like San Jose State's going to beat Boise State as well, and what a year for them. Penn State was actually supposed to play them back mid-September, non-conference, here in Happy Valley. They were supposed to play Nevada, Virginia Tech, and then San Jose State. Nevada backed out a while ago. It was Kent State, Virginia Tech, and San Jose State then. But of course, no non-conference. That was the first schedule. And then they did the 10-game conference only. That didn't happen either. And then after the Big Ten, hey, we're not playing football. And then a month later, we're going to play football because everyone else is. We're going to fit in. Ohio State's going to make the playoff now. The Big Ten needs to get their act together moving forward. Kevin Warren, I tell you what, come on, dude. Like, get your head out of your ass. Like, you are not a good Big Ten commissioner. I don't care what your background is. Like, no. Like, if I'd say Kevin Warren's, or if you tell me Kevin Warren's coming in and this is going to happen, or I can have Jim Delaney back as Big Ten commissioner, give me back Jim Delaney for another year or so. Like, Jesus Christ. But, no, yeah, Big Ten wasn't going to play. If they said they're going to play, then okay, we play. But it's an 8-game conference only. So no non-conference for the most part for anyone. Yeah, San Jose State's going to win this. They're going to beat Boise State. So we'll put on Tulsa and Cincinnati, as they should be underway on ABC. But Boise State is still Boise State. Like, with the loss, okay, 2 losses this year, I get it. You know, it's 2020. Everyone's, especially the Blue Bloods, Penn State 0-5 and then 4 in a row. As Christmas is right around the corner. St. Nick's going to be sticking his fat white ass down everyone's chimney next Thursday night. Incomplete, 4th down. Penn State going to get the football back. There we go. Tulsa, Cincinnati, Alabama, Florida, and Illinois, Penn State. Yeah, but Brandon Peters, he was in on the first play. It was complete. They were in the trick play, and it's been Isaiah Williams since. And then Peters comes in on this drive. Incomplete, incomplete, incomplete. Can't hit the broadside of a goddamn barn. And 4th down, Illinois going to punt, and Penn State getting the ball back. Trying to put up 50 for the first time since last year. Last year's Cotton Bowl win against Memphis, in which, until they beat Michigan just less than a month ago, 2 days after Thanksgiving, was their last win. Until then, so... Yeah, Dotson's had a hell of a day. Also has a punt return for a good margin. Had one for a touchdown last week. Got tripped up about 10 or 15 yards shy earlier, but 1st and 10 from the 30. Clifford in the gun, back to his left. Trips near side. Penn State right to left across the television screen, ready on our dial. Clifford pump fakes, looking to go deep. He will down the far sideline, and it's incomplete, out of bounds. Now we got a flag on the play. So see what that dirty laundry is from these zebras. All right, no foul for an eligible receiver downfield. Levis in the ball game now at quarterback. Still to come, we're going to preview some of these bowl games, but keep an eye out for a video on bowl matchups, as they'll go from Monday until the national championship game on January the 11th. 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line for blue and white. Empty set 5 wide. I believe that's the first time I've said that all day. Levis on the keeper. 4 yards for him up the middle. 3rd down and 6.
Jake Hansen, senior, second team All Big Ten. Guy that's forced 14 fumbles. 14 takeaways really over his last 2 years, and the bulk of those have been
3rd down and 6 from the 34. Clifford going to go down the sack. So now I can't block up front with a lead. Like, come on. You can't be consistent. Now a flag, maybe a late hit. We'll see what this flag is. They're taking a while to figure it out. After the play was over, so the sack's going to stand. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Penn State. What? Half the distance, okay. It'll be 4th down, so Penn State's going to have to punt anyway. But where the hell was there unsportsmanlike conduct after a sack? When does an offensive lineman, after giving up a sack, get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called against him? Where the hell was that? That makes no sense. I didn't see a single thing. Touchdown Alabama. They lead early against Florida. Tulsa and Cincinnati tied up at 0. Illinois on the fair catch, 48-yard line. So they're already in Penn State territory after Penn State got backed up there. 1st and 10 Illini. Down 49-21 here with about 12-13 minutes to play. But no, to answer your question then too. No, unfortunately, I like the other team in the state of Pennsylvania and the western part of the state, the one that has 6 Super Bowls compared to the one. The better half of the state, Sheets compared to Wawa, that half, the Steelers over the Eagles, and Penn State's in the middle. So, no, it's Penn State, Steelers, Pirates, Penguins. It's Pittsburgh. It's not Philly. No, sorry, but no. But hey, we are Penn State. We all bleed blue and white, so at least we're all Penn State fans, whether we're Steelers or Eagle fans. So. We move on. I digress. Bowl games begin Monday. App State, North Texas at 2:30 Monday afternoon. Tulane, Nevada on the blue turf, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That'll be Tuesday afternoon. Tulane, Nevada. Good matchup. 2 6-win programs here this year in 2020. The Boca Raton Bowl down in Boca on the campus of Florida Atlantic. It'll be Central Florida heading east, taking on BYU. That'll be Tuesday night on ESPN. Wednesday, we got in the New Orleans Bowl, Wednesday afternoon. That is normally a night game, normally taking place tonight, the first Saturday of bowl season. It'll be Louisiana Tech and Georgia Southern. Memphis and Florida Atlantic in the Montgomery Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. And then Christmas Eve, as the Hawaii Bowl was canceled along with the Bahamas Bowl, Las Vegas, and Little Caesars Quick Lane Pizza Bowl up in Detroit. Holiday Bowl was also canceled along with the Santa Clara, whatever the hell sponsor they have this year for it. That bowl game was also canceled at Levi Stadium in Northern California. Normally the Hawaii Bowl is on Christmas Eve. However, next Thursday afternoon, rather than Thursday night, we'll have the New Mexico Bowl from Albuquerque. We'll see if Heisenberg is in the area by any means, but it'll be Hawaii and Houston in this year's New Mexico Bowl. The Raycom Media Camellia Bowl next Friday on Christmas with two to-be-determined opponents. We'll find out tomorrow who's playing in that game. Now, some of these games could very well still get canceled from now until when they're played. Don't know, of course. The only time you're going to tell. But next Friday on Christmas, we'll have one college football game. We'll have one NFL game with the Vikings and Saints. A playoff rematch from last year. Drew Brees going to start tomorrow for New Orleans, returning from his injury against Kansas City. So that should be a good matchup tomorrow against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But the NBA returns next week. We had, or have had, some damn good college basketball already this season, so we'll see what the future holds for all these sports. But now 2nd down and 10 from the 48 for Illinois here in this fourth quarter, trailing 49-21. They have not done a damn thing since they took a 21-14 lead in the first quarter. It's been all Penn State since. Handoff, maybe a yard if that, 3rd down. Next Saturday, we got the, it's not the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl anymore. It's just the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. So Gasparilla Bowl, that's next Saturday. The Cure Bowl, First Responder Bowl, that has University of Texas San Antonio and someone, Western Kentucky, Georgia State, and the Lending Tree Bowl. Army's going to the Independence Bowl to take on a to-be-determined opponent. And then the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, formerly known as the Cheez-It Bowl, that is a possible destination for Penn State against a Big 12 opponent. Next Saturday night, the day after Christmas at 10:15 Eastern Time. So that's a late night game if, they go there. 4th down, Illinois, they're going to punt again, so they have thrown in the towel. They don't care. Penn State's going to win this, 49-21. Of course, then, next Sunday, the 27th, no college football bowl games. NFL-owned Sundays, we all know that. So we won't have a bowl game until next Monday then. Only day off, next Monday the 28th. As it would be this upcoming Monday the 21st at 2:30 in the afternoon. That'll be the Military Bowl. We'll still have Monday Night Football later on both nights with the final 2 Monday night games of the year with Steelers-Bengals and then Bills-Patriots. As they're bringing us into the holiday spirit with all this damn Christmas music going into and coming out of commercial breaks now. Hey, they're great. Not this year. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl canceled as well. But we still have a few other good bowl games, of course, with, I take back with what I just said. The Cheez-It Bowl is still going on, so the Cheez-It Bowl and the Guaranteed Rate Bowl are 2 different bowl games. Where the hell is the Guaranteed Rate Bowl at? That's Chase Field. Okay, so the Cheez-It Bowl moves from Phoenix to... Oh, Cheez-It Bowl is the Camping World Bowl now. Okay, Camping World turns into Cheez-It. And then we still have the Citrus Bowl. So they just changed sponsors. Cheez-It did. Alright. So I was technically right to an extent, but... Alright, now I know. But this is how it always is in bowl season anyway. It's, whoever's sponsoring and paying the most money is going to get it. So... Next Monday, the Military Bowl. The next day, that following Tuesday, the Cheez-It Bowl, which was formerly known as the Champs Sports Bowl, and now the formerly known Capital One Bowl, or Camping World Bowl. The Capital One Bowl is the Citrus Bowl, but the Camping World Bowl is the Cheez-It Bowl now, whereas the former Cheez-It Bowl is the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Getting things straight. All right. Also got the Valero Alamo Bowl with a Pac-12 Big 12 matchup, if I'm not mistaken. The other matchup, or a potential destination for Penn State, as mentioned, is Charlotte, North Carolina, Queen City, Duke's Mayo Bowl at the bring a lot of whipped cream to that, though. That'll be Big Ten ACC. Also got the Music City Bowl that day as well. Back-to-back, so noon and then 4 p.m. in the afternoon in Music City. So another potential destination for Penn State. We'll see. Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic is later on that night as well. As mentioned there, great, not this year. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl canceled from El Paso. We've got the Armed Forces Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, along with the Arizona Bowl and Texas Bowl to ring in the new year. That'll be the final game in this college football season of 2020 to close out 2020 and bring in 2021 on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, we got the Birmingham Bowl, Peach Bowl, Citrus Bowl, and then the 2 college football playoff semis with the Rose and Sugar. The next day, January the 2nd, Gator Bowl, Outback Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, and Orange Bowl before the National Championship on January the 11th.
This is where you go into a 4-minute mentality with 12 minutes left in the game. Got those young running backs.
Second down for Penn State. Second down as Florida ties it up at 7, so Tide and Gators all tied at 7 early on. 2nd and 3 after a 7-yard gain. Ball 13. Clifford going to hand off. First down run for Penn State for 7 more. Keziah Holmes, first down. Nittany Lions. Next commercial break. Penn State recruiting. Stay tuned.
20 sacks allowed during that 0-5 start, but entering tonight, the prior 3 games, all wins, only 3 sacks allowed. Illinois tonight has sacks. Clifford 3 times. As Levis stays in, he runs.
Levis at quarterback, going to tuck it and run. Maybe 5 yards if he's lucky. Second down. 10.5 to play.
Moving forward. You see him being more of a passer, a little bit more moving forward. Yeah, and I mean, as you go back to the games where he played last year, got significant time against Ohio State in the game, and started the game against Iowa this year. It just takes time for young players to develop, especially at the quarterback position.
2nd and 5. Clifford near side, incomplete. Intended for Cam Sullivan Brown, number 6. Or that was Levis again, still on quarterback. 3rd down, 3rd and 5.
Probably an ill-advised throw because Porter was squatting on that route, and even if he got that ball where it was supposed to be, it could have been picked off. But he got so quick with his mechanics, didn't quite go into normal throwing motion, and threw it a little bit wide. And as I said, because the Porter was on that route so close, he threw that.
3rd down and 5 from the 24. Empty set, 5 wide. Levis still in a quarterback looking to throw. He gets drilled as he lets it go. It's going to be deflected from behind, incomplete. 4th down. And now here comes Penn State to punt. So yeah, it's been a punt contest in this second half after all the points in the first half. Neither offense wants to do anything anymore. Alabama on the kickoff return out to the 16-yard line. Tied up at 7. There is a flag on the play. Alabama and Florida, 7 apiece. Was 0-0 Tulsa and Cincinnati. They're currently at a commercial break, though, for myself, so we'll check in with that a little bit later. Fair catch once again by Illinois, the 28. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Illinois, the Fighting Illini from Champaign, Illinois, when we return. They trail 49-21. Another tough season for them. They've been down in the dumps for quite a while, and hopefully they'll be able to get back on track now with Brett Bielema. But James Franklin still at the helm of Penn State, unless he pulls for the NFL or elsewhere. But Penn State this past Wednesday was able to sign 15 recruits. And some of these recruits are best of their position. Some are best in state. Some are going to be plug and play right off the bat next year. Some are going to redshirt. Some might not ever play. Some might transfer. It's just how it always works out. The tough thing is with everyone right now, with the NCAA giving everyone free eligibility for this year does not count. Okay? You have a recruiting class coming in. You can only hold 85 scholarships. So, somebody's got to go. You know, we'll see what the numbers are, but there might be a few players from this team that, whether we think are going to be there or not next year, they might not be. They might transfer out. They might go elsewhere. You know, they might leave early just for the hell of it to go to the NFL because whoever it is on whatever team they play on, they just might need a spot for someone else that is coming in. You know, it's just how it works out. It's a business. It's all business, all it is. But, you know, play for the love of the game. So, you know, I get it's just football. It's just a sport. But when, like, come on. I don't need to go there with all that. So, no, but Penn State, 15 recruits, 15 commits signed, letter of intents. They signed twins from the state of Michigan in Kalen and Kobe King. Both play defense. One's a safety, one's a linebacker. They signed a few wide receivers as well. And Lonnie White Jr. from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania here. Along with Liam Clifford, as mentioned, Sean Clifford's little brother from St. X in Cincinnati, Ohio. Bearcats up 7-0 now on Tulsa. They also signed Harrison Wallace away from both Alabama and Auburn, as he is from Pike Road, Alabama, and he's coming the whole way up right here to University Park State College, Pennsylvania, to play for the Blue and White. For the most part, defense in this 15, but a few other position players. First down completion for Illinois. First time they've moved the ball that far since they scored their last touchdown. But Landon Tangwell from Maryland, a four-star tackle coming in to Penn State, the top player in the state of Maryland, coming to Happy Valley. Last time, though, about this, Penn State signed a highly recruited offensive lineman like him with Sterling Jenkins out of Pittsburgh, and he never panned out. I get it. Some players pan out, some don't. It's just how it is. Also, on the offensive side of the ball, they signed a kicker, top kicker nationwide, so that's good. Khalil Dinkins from North Allegheny, NA, down in Pittsburgh. A wide receiver going to be playing tight end at the collegiate level. They also signed Nate Bruce at guard. And then we're actually bringing in a quarterback in this recruiting class as well right now. Jahan Dawson back deep to receive this punt. Fair catch, runs out of bounds. It'll be first and 10, Penn State. Why don't you put some backups in and give them some playing time here, get them some experience. There's 8 minutes to play. You're up 49-21. Like, come on. Like, the starters don't need to be in, especially if you're going to be playing next week. Or a week and a half from now, whenever you're going to be playing whoever you're facing in the whole game. So we'll see how it all works out, but no, they're going to bring in a quarterback in this recruiting class as well, in Christian Ballou from the Great White North up in Canada. However, he plays high school ball in the state of Maryland. So he's a 6'3.5" pro-style quarterback. He's signed. He'll be in to compete with Clifford, Taquan Roberson, along with Will Levis and Micah Bowens, who was in this past year's recruiting class. Also, Jalen Reed, along with Zakie Wheatley, Jamari Budden at linebacker, and then Rodney Tim McGraw at the end from the Hoosier State of Indiana, as he picked Penn State over Indiana, Purdue, and Notre Dame. 3 prestigious programs in that basketball-driven state. Jeff Davis Jr. as well at cornerback. And that's it, okay? But, however, with just the early signing day this past week on Wednesday, there is still the normal signing day the first Wednesday in February. So with the small 15 kids that they have for the smallest class James Franklin's had in his 7 going on 8-year tenure at Penn State, they'll still be able to move forward with the depth that they have, but still going to potentially be able to sign more players on the other signing day coming up in February. 2 letters of intent, of course, to come to Penn State to play college football. So we'll see how it, of course, shakes out as always. And hopefully we'll get one more Penn State game here with a bowl game by the end of the year. And if not, as mentioned, past 2 weeks, we will have at least one more Penn State live reaction, play-by-play stream live right here on YouTube. Whether or not it's this year's bowl game or not, I have a plan. Believe me. Be sure to tune back in. 1st and 10 from the 21, and Levis in the ball game. The quarterback hurdles a man and picks up a first down. Just as Saquon did in 2015 against Illinois, number 7 Will Levis hurdling an Illini defender for a Penn State first down, and Penn State sideline just in awe. And now we got an injured player. It'll be another Illinois Fighting Illini defender. In the meantime, another touchdown for Alabama. Alabama 13-7 over Florida. College football playoff, it's going to be Alabama. It's going to be Clemson. It's going to be Ohio State. I believe it should be Texas A&M at 4. I do. I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be in with losing the way they did against Clemson today in a rematch. They split with them. So maybe we get the third and final game between the two. The rubber match this season in the semis or even the national title game. But that seems like that's going to be a rivalry moving forward. I mean, they've met, as non-conference foes over the past decade or so, including in a semifinal in the Cotton Bowl a few years back, before Clemson, of course, went to the national title game once again. But from the 44, 1st and 10, handoff from Levis, Keziah Holmes out past midfield for a big Penn State first down. No Devin Ford at all. Like, you would have thought maybe he'd be back in the ball game, or back in the game plan at least, to play a little bit today. But maybe he's injured though too. I don't know. No Devin Ford, but they're running with the freshmen in Kevon Lee and Keziah Holmes as of late, since Ford had to leave the team for the Michigan game before returning, and then since then losing his job because they've been running the ball better with Kevon Lee and Keziah Holmes. So Levis looking to throw, evades a sack, and then he's going to go down on a 3-yard loss. So it'll be second down and long with 6:50 to play here. Penn State leading 49-21. And like I said, all this scoring was done in the first half. Penn State scored 7 there at the end of the third quarter, but there hasn't been hardly a damn thing happen in the second half other than a few punts. Had another few turnovers, but nothing, and a few Illinois injuries, but other than that, nothing. Penn State's been able to hold on to this lead, play better defense. On a handoff up the gut, Keziah Holmes breaks a few tackles, and then he's going to be brought down at the 21-yard line. He's looking like Saquon Barkley out there wearing that number 26. He is. The way he runs that football, too, that juke move, 2 Illinois defenders into one another, trying to bring them down. 1st and 10 for Penn State. Let me put up 50 on him. Give me a 50 burger. And now we got an injured Penn Stater. Who's that? Actually, no, it's somebody on Illinois again. So yeah, they're cramping up. They just want to get the hell out and get the hell home. They haven't scored since the end of the first quarter. 7-0, 7 apiece, 14-7, 14 apiece. Illinois 21-14, and it's been Penn State ever since. 49-21 with 6:15 to play here. 1st and 10 Nittany Lions. So, yeah, Illinois is done for. Their season's going to be over with. Brett Bielema is going to take over. Wish him the best of luck in Champaign. I honestly do believe he will have success. You know, he has won at the highest level at both Wisconsin and Arkansas, but had more of a downfall with the Hogs and the Badgers. He knows what it takes to win in the Big Ten. He knows how to recruit in the Big Ten, especially in the Midwest. He's from Illinois, played at Iowa, bounced around as assistant, as mentioned, coming back home to the state school, going to take over for Illinois. And don't be shocked, Illinois has 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 wins next year, just as Rutgers had 3 wins this year with Greg Schiano back at the helm at Rutgers. So Illinois is going to be what Wisconsin was, but potentially a little bit different on offense, as he mentioned earlier today in the interview. But they're still going to be, you know, strong up front, physical with the offense line, you know, 6'5" and up. He's going to bring in Hogs, Hog Moley, to run the ball down your throat and you know, open up the play action, have an average quarterback as he did mostly every year. I mean, Russell Wilson came in 11, and hard to believe today they said was the 10th Big Ten football conference championship game, which is hard to believe. Like, this past decade has literally just flown by. Like, where the hell has time gone? Levis on the handoff, Keziah Holmes as the go-to back here late in the fourth quarter. And getting another carry there. 1st and goal. We'll have some final stats and scores coming up shortly as well, so stay tuned for that. Once this game does in fact go final, as now Kyle Trask is out of the ball game. Florida with a backup quarterback in. And that is, what's his name? Emory Jones. And he picks up a 1st down run on the quarterback keeper. Tulsa, Cincinnati, Alabama, Florida, Illinois, Penn State here. Penn State trying to punch it in once more. 2nd goal coming up from the 2. Punch it in, Keziah. Holmes and Holmes. Make Illinois rebuild. But we'll put on Panthers-Packers in the NFL with some NFL Saturday Night Football once this game wraps up. Kyle Trask back in. So Florida just running some 2-quarterback offense right now. But 2nd goal from the 2, Levis and a quarterback gonna hand off once again. Keziah Holmes gonna reach for the goal line. Brought down at the 1-yard line, though, they say. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1. Punch this ball in. Score another 7. There's still 4 minutes and counting to play. 49-21 Penn State. I'm trying to think the last time they scored 50 in the regular season. I know they put up 50 plus against Memphis in the bowl game last year, but as Levis hands off touchdown Penn State, Keziah Holmes in for 6 once again, his second rushing touchdown of the afternoon. Penn State now 55-21 pending Pinniger's extra point. 3:33 to play. Future bright for Kevon Lee and Keziah Holmes. Devin Ford might be on his way out. He might be like Ricky Slade from last year. Hell, even Noah Kane. But for the most part, if they can keep all four, because they had 5 to begin this year. And then, of course, Journey Brown down and out with a heart condition, forced to retire due to a medical condition. And then Noah Kane hasn't played since the first play of the Indiana game, went down with an injury there. And it's been Devin Ford, Kevon Lee, and Keziah Holmes ever since. And that's why, for the most part, they cannot run the football the way they have over this, past now coming up 4-game winning streak after starting out 0-5. But just think, if they were able to run the football and not turn the ball over in those 5 losses, like I said, they probably have a few more wins than what they do right now, and could potentially, be going to a better bowl game. But with everyone bowl eligible, 0-5, okay, you win 4 straight, you should still be going to a bowl game, so that's really all that matters. Because you go to a bowl game, that's a good season. I don't care if it's with 6 wins or, you're going to college football playoff. It's any more college football playoff or bust. You don't get there, it's like, oh, our season, was a disgrace. Like, it was pointless to, play all these games that we just played. No. Like, you won as many games as you did, you should be proud of that. Like, you take away everything that you should be happy for. Like, you get too confident and, cocky, and everyone's eligible. You don't need 6 wins. Now, if that wasn't the case, no, they wouldn't be going to bowl game. This would be the last game of the year. But no, they should be going to a bowl game. We'll find out hopefully tomorrow. But Penn State now leads 56-21 over Illinois. So, touchback on the kick. 1st and 10 Illini from the 25. This, however, will in fact be the final Penn State home game until Ball State rolls in, coming off of a MAC Conference Championship last night. Next September, Penn State will open at Wisconsin and then Ball State before Auburn out of the SEC comes to Happy Valley with a home and home over the next 2 years. And that's why I said potentially with West Virginia and Auburn as bowl opponents this year, West Virginia is a home and home after the home. And then the home and home with West Virginia is still on for now, but they didn't play this year. And Virginia Tech, now wants out. So we'll see what happens, like I said, with that over the next few years. But out of the pistol from the 25, Peter's going to hand off. Penn State with a few missed tackles. And then brought down after a pickup about 8, maybe 9 yards. Penn State with a lot of backups now in here. So Cincinnati leading 7-0. Alabama up 14-7. Penn State up 56-21. It is 2nd and 1. Another handoff, 1st down run for orange and blue. Yeah, it's tough right now. It's just everyone and everything. But hey, at least there's a vaccine now, I guess. Whether it's going to work or not, whether they say it is, we don't know. We'll find out. But from 36, Illinois 1st and 10, another handoff. And then Penn State on the stop. It'll be 2nd down. $2:15 to play here. Yeah, we could have a lot of transfers as well as always. Peters looking to throw, almost picked off, incomplete, out of bounds, far side. Penn State wanted a flag. Franklin running in, hey, get the hell back. Peters going to come out on a 3rd down. They bring another quarterback. This is now Illinois' 3rd-string quarterback. Deuce Staley, 3rd and 8. He's running around. He's not going to go anywhere. Runs out of bounds, 4th down. And now getting chippy, some pushing, shoving. Illinois just frustrated. I get it. But they'll go for it here on 4th. Penn State hasn't called a single timeout in this second half. They only called 1 in the first half, so, or 2 before missing that field goal to close out the first half. But a 4th down now, Illinois on a punt. They're actually going to punt, not go for it. So Penn State will just take a few knees. Illinois has 2 timeouts, but they're not going to stop the clock. They're down 56-21. There's no way in hell they come back and win this game. Hell's going to freeze over before that, so come on. No. On this date, December 19th, 1959, Alabama and Penn State in a bowl game. So Penn State's played on this day before. Penn State beat Alabama that day, 7-0. But that was a bowl game, not Big Ten Champions Week during the regular season. This is the furthest end of the schedule that Penn State has played a home game. December the 19th, Taquan Roberson in the ball game at quarterback, number 9. Gonna hand off. And a few yard pickup on that run. 2nd down and 5. There's Taquan Roberson for you. A potential starter in the future, maybe. We'll see. Played sparingly last year in the regular season home finale against Rutgers. Same against Illinois. Other than that, he hasn't done anything. Other than, of course, during practice and all that, but we'll see if they're going to let him air it out by me and see what he's got. Another handoff there. 1st and 10 of the 38. Under a minute to play. Another handoff. 1st down run, Penn State. Down the far sideline. I'd be shocked if Penn State decides against not going to a bowl game. When you have a chance to go, you go. They don't come around all the time. And the bowl streak would continue. The winning season streak would continue if you'd win the bowl game and get to 5-5, winning 5 straight after losing 5 to start the season. 1st and 10. This should do it for the final play of the ball game. Taquan Roberson just going to hand off once again. And about a 7-yard run there. And it was 7 here, 7 there, back and forth with all the touchdowns. But after Illinois took a 21-14 lead, Penn State took over, and they haven't looked back since. Penn State's going to defeat Illinois during the first ever Big Ten Champions Week in 2020 by a final score of 56-21. Penn State has now won 4 games in a row after starting the season 0-5. They sit at 4-5, potentially winning a bowl bid sometime tomorrow. Hallelujah. Where the hell is Tylenol? I tell you what, this season, just up and down all over the place. Good to see them close the season out strong. They've beat Michigan, they've beaten Rutgers, and now Michigan State and Illinois. 2 road games, 2 home games over the past 4 weeks during this 4-game winning streak after starting out 0-5. If only, big if, I know, if only they were able to run the ball better along with not turning it over in those early 5 games that they lost. Who knows if it'd be any different. And if they'd have a few more wins. They probably would, but we don't know because that's not what happened. They lost 5 straight. They were 0-5, and now they've won 4 in a row. So they're 4-5. They should go to a bowl game. Hopefully they go to a bowl game. We'll see, about that, of course, but this won't be my last Penn State live reaction stream of the season. So keep an eye out for another one at a to-be-determined date by the end of the college football and NFL seasons. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. As always, links in the description below. We turn on Carolina and Green Bay in the NFL with the Panthers and Packers. Matt Rule, the former Penn Stater, first-year head coach in the NFL with Carolina, sitting at 4-9, taking on Aaron Rodgers and the Pack. They trail early second quarter by 11. Green Bay leads 14-3. But some final stats and scores now. For Illinois and Penn State. Brett Bielema going to be taking over. So Illinois, future's bright. Not even really going to go over their final stats and scores by any means because they didn't do a damn thing in the second half. Penn State shut them out in the second half. So it just shows you the defense stepped up when needed. After trading points back and forth, finally settling in, still able to do what they were doing on offense for the rest of the game on top of that. But no, 56-21 your final score. Yeah, Illinois didn't do a damn thing in the second half. They got shut out. Sean Clifford, though, for Penn State, he was 16-22 for 285 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns. He had 9 carries for 11 yards on the ground. Will Levis, he was 3 of 5 through the air with 42 yards passing. Also a touchdown. Will Levis had 9 carries for 38 yards and a rushing touchdown as well. Kevon Lee, 19 carries, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Keziah Holmes, 12 carries, 77 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Penn State as a team, as Bruno, Sam Martino, also had 4 carries for 42 yards rushing. Penn State had 53 carries for 253 yards rushing today. If only, a big if, I know, okay? But if only they were able to run the football the way they did today, along with not turning it over all season long from start to finish, they wouldn't be sitting at 4-5 right now. They'd have a few more wins. They'd probably be 6, 7-2 maybe. But they're 4-5 and hopeful for a bowl game now by the end of the season. Penn State receiving. Jahan Dotson. He had 6 catches for $189 and 2 scores. Theo Johnson didn't do a single thing in the second half, but good to get him involved. Good to see him get a few catches here today. 2 catches for 42 yards receiving. Brenton Strange also had 4 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Keziah Holmes, 2 catches for 19 yards. Parker Washington, only 1 catch. 1 catch again for Parker Washington for 16 yards. Same thing as Jahan Dotson, okay? They go to Dotson a lot, and then teams start to double team him. So they go to Parker Washington a lot because he's open because Dotson's not. Well, now Parker Washington's covered all the time, but Dotson's not. Well, even if he is, they're still going to him. Well, somebody else has to be open, like throwing the damn ball. They've been 10 times better over this past 4-game winning streak, this current 4-game winning streak. Hopeful for 5 to close it out on a high note at 5-5, 500 average year. Build on that into next year, 2021. But just when they would go to Dotson a lot, then they won it. Now they're doing the same thing with Parker Washington. They go to him a lot, now they're not. one catch for 16 yards. Cam Sullivan-Brown had a catch, along with Keandre Lambert-Smith as well. Penn State also had a 100-yard kickoff return for a score from Malone Wade as well, playing in his final home game at Beaver Stadium. So Penn State, a 56-21 win over Illinois. If in fact this is it for the season, okay. But I do believe they should go to a bowl game. I do believe they will. Penn State football will go to a bowl game if the bowls that, of course, that are affiliated with the Big Ten will, as the Green Bay Packers here, big turnover and a 50-yard return almost for a touchdown, but it'll be 1st and 10. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers here, 7.5 to play in the first half. So we'll see if we stay on until halftime or not with these games. Currently, Cincinnati up 10-0 over Tulsa. Alabama still leads Florida. And then a fumble at the goal line by the Panthers, and Green Bay picks it up and returns it almost to the house. They'll take commercial breaks, so 1st and 10, Rodgers and the Pack when they come back. But no, if only the bowl games that are affiliated with the Big Ten, of course, invite and Penn State accepts a bowl bid, that's the only way they're going to a bowl game. So we'll see, where they go, who they play. But, I went over it earlier, potential matchup with West Virginia, TCU, or Kansas State out of the Big 12, maybe even NC State or Wake Forest out of the ACC. Got Ole Miss, Auburn, and Missouri out of the SEC, potentially. So a few different matchups during bowl season for the Penn State Nittany Lions, donning the blue and white. After starting out 0-5, have now won 4 in a row, sitting at 4-5. But if in fact this is it for the season, at least they, didn't finish winless. They finally found their groove. They got out of the hole, or all the holes they dug themselves early, and they've won 4 in a row now. So that speaks for something. So hopefully, just moving forward, and it'll start with a bowl game. It'll continue on through the bowl game from this 4-game win streak that they're on right now, on to the next year then, with a bowl win potentially. So, but no, if in fact this is it, don't worry, I'll have one more Penn State live reaction stream live right here on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. Don't know by any means right now when that's going to be. So as mentioned, just be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. It's an easy way to stay up to date. But Penn State with a 56-21 win at home, 6 days before Christmas against Illinois, 56-21. Hopefully they'll get a bowl bid, accept it, and go bowling. And hopefully a strike with their 5th straight win to close out the season at 5-5. And hopefully by this time tomorrow night we'll know when and where and who they're going to be playing in that bowl game, if in fact they're going to a bowl game. I don't believe they'd be one to, hey, we're going to pull out, we're not going to a bowl game this year, even if we're allowed to, we're invited and all that, because we've seen a few teams already back out from a few other different conferences. So every year since 2005, other than of course in 2012 and 13, because those years they still had enough wins to go to a bowl game, but because of the sanctions. So I don't think they'd be one to not accept a bowl invite to wherever the hell it's going to be, because that's just another game. That's another challenge for everyone to go out and showcase what you got against a non-conference opponent, basically, especially when you didn't have a non-conference schedule this year. It'd be interesting to see who they're going to play, and then how the game turns out. And it could be a first ever matchup with whoever they play, or a renewed rivalry. It just depends. but hopefully we'll of course find out tomorrow. Just had a little technical difficulty there, which honestly, a bit of a shock. Took this long, but sorry for any technical difficulties by any means for anyone watching with the buffering, disconnect, and reconnect. But yes, Penn State with a 56-21 win over Illinois here today. Now tonight, past 9 o'clock on the East Coast in the good old USA. So Penn State, after starting out 0-5, has now won 4 in a row. They sit at 4-5 on the season, awaiting a potential bowl bid. Hopefully, sometime by this time tomorrow. And only time's going to tell. We'll see. But yes, thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe as always on social media. Links in the description below. Hopefully, we'll tune back in for more college football, NFL, and professional wrestling live reaction streams. As always, live right here on YouTube as well. And hopefully, I'll see everybody now tomorrow night and on Monday night as well for more live reactions, play-by-play. But Merry Christmas. Happy New Year if you're not going to tune back in from now until then, of course. Penn State, 56-21 winners over the Illinois Fighting Illini to close out the Big Ten Champions Week during this conference-only 8-game Big Ten schedule in 2020 before a potential bowl berth tomorrow over the next week and a half, 2 weeks or so to close out the calendar year. So Penn State 56, Illinois 21, from start to finish, fast-paced. Of course, settled down there, and Penn State, was better on defense and ended up being +1 against Illinois in the turnover margin, as they were even there for a point, but then another turnover by the Fighting Illini. And Penn State, after down 21-14, they never looked back, and they win it once again, 56-21. So thank you once again, as always, for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Penn State 56, Illinois 21. We are Penn State. We are, and we will always be, Penn State. We are Penn State, 56-21 winners over Illinois.
Today, we got to make sure we have a strong, quick